You got it?
Yeah.
You live?
We are live. We are live. We are live.
Yes, sir, we are. How's everybody doing tonight?
I'm doing great.
Awesome. That's always
Yeah,
Yeah.
good to hear.
yeah, yeah,
Man say he's great. Hey, it's a
yeah,
lot of things
yeah,
going right.
yeah.
Yes, sir.
So we got 922 in the house. First man to comment. He even beat Super Dave today.
Oh man.
But you know Super Dave right behind him.
Yeah.
The man with the master plan. Thank you, Super Dave. Murdoch's in the house. What's going on, buddy? Spot him, got him. I still hadn't met this dude yet. He been down here fishing my lakes in, I don't know, 6 months already.
Oh
I hadn't
man.
even met him yet. I think we're fishing opposite ends of the lake.
Okay, Lake Houston.
No, I don't think he's ever fished Lake Houston.
Okay.
He's always on Conroe.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, man, Conroe, I still want to put more time in out there at nighttime, but that daytime bite out there,
All right.
I hadn't been out there. It's been probably a week since I've really went and targeted the crappie, but it's been a different bite out there. It's been a different bite this year. Seriously, a different bite.
Yep.
So, but that's what I like. I like that.
Yep.
You know, that's what crappie fishing is all about, the challenge.
Yep.
So, I might get out there tomorrow. I'm not sure. I don't have a trip tomorrow either. So, them the days you got to put that work in, though. I have
Yep.
emailed SK 4 times and he will not respond. I give up. I'll see him on the lake. Shannon Creel. I think, I don't know. It's rare that you going to tell me you to email me 4 times and I hadn't replied.
I told the guy today we busy, man. We don't see every email.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So I was like,
No, I don't have a. I don't know what email he's sending it to.
He might be forgetting that S.
Yeah, I'll look in detail. Spot him, got him. What part are you having a conversation? The guy that's gonna be on the live tonight from Jackson.
Oh, cool.
Okay.
Yep. Jackson, Mississippi.
Yeah.
He guides on Ross Barnett.
mm-hmm.
Cool. Murdoch says I'm from Bassfield. That's Hattiesburg area. Got a camp at Eagle Lake. Do most of my fishing around the river.
Oh, cool.
That's what's up. Kim, you get on any fish this week? This past weekend?
Yeah. I went bluegill fishing. Then I went drifting for catfish.
Oh man, you know we can't talk about no catfish on this show. I read you talk about bass and catfish. Now you to be stopped. I'm just joking. Hey, it's fishing. It's all fun. Hey, I tell you what. Speaking of catfish, not to cut you off, but speaking of catfish, man, I had a client get. I don't know if I talked about this last week or not, but man, I'm willing to bet that catfish was every bit of 40 or 50 pounds. Big old flathead.
Oh yeah.
On a crappie jig.
Oh man. Yeah, he said he's going to join in about a minute.
Okay, that's fine. I hadn't seen him yet, so that's we'll get him in. Slick, what's going on, my man? But go ahead. I didn't mean to cut you off about your catfishing.
No, I seen you when you asked me. Were you targeting him? I was like, yeah.
I was like, I know Kim not out there targeting catfish.
Nobody believed it. I was funny.
Hey man, but it's fishing. It's all fun. It is all fun.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did some bluegill fishing next week. I'll talk about it later.
Okay, cool.
That's some fun stuff, man.
Did you put in any work looking for crappie?
No, I didn't.
Yeah.
Man, that was so much fun. I didn't want to waste no more time.
You didn't want to leave it, huh?
I told you, it's a blast, man.
Oh yeah, it's a blast.
Yeah. I agree.
Yeah.
Hey.
I love it.
Them some aggressive little jokers, man. They fight really well.
One of my buddies, Cameron, he's a guide on Fork. He had a bunch of bluegill today, so I'm thinking he got them on Fork. Nice ones.
Oh, Fork, I've heard.
Yeah.
Fork got some really good bluegill.
I'll be
Nobody
calling
hardly
him.
ever targets them.
Yep. Right. I'm gonna call. In the morning. I'm gonna call. I might even go up there if I hear a response that he says, yeah, he got him there.
Yeah. Yeah, anybody that go to Fork, all they got on their mind is crappie.
Yep.
But
Or
I've
bass.
seen, yeah, if you do a search for Lake Fork and bluegill, they got some quality bluegill
Yep.
in that lake.
Yep.
Good. Let them keep
But the
fishing.
thing is, just about any lake that got really good bass got a good bluegill population.
Yeah.
From what I've seen.
Yeah.
Jigs Up says, howdy, gents. Brush piles are full of catfish on Cedar Creek, but the bite has been ridiculously tough. Catch a couple and then the rest shut down.
Man.
And you know what?
Full of fish.
I'm willing to bet that that's gonna hit a lot of lakes here. It's hit us down here.
Yeah.
But now I will say Lake Houston don't have the big bluegill, but it's a big catfish lake, and the catfish are seriously. And we deal with that every year. The catfish will take over a brush pile. But I truly do believe that they spawn. I've sit and watched on live scope big catfish, and they got 1,000 other cats around them. So I'm quite sure that they're spawning on a lot of those stumps and brush piles too. And that's coming soon.
Yeah.
But Conroe, man, I'm gonna tell you, it's just ridiculous how many bluegill is in that lake. I'd never imagined that it's that many.
Right.
But from what I've seen, I like bed fishing for them.
Right.
With that old cork, get a fixed position cork and go to town on them. But the thing is, even right now, I hadn't even caught a female. Every single bluegill I've caught off of a bed, the few that I have gotten, is a male, and they're so not aggressive. It's unreal. They'll lay their cork over, or you'll just see a little nibble on that cork. But when it get good and hot, on spawning for bluegill, that cork is it's cast out there before when that cork stands up, it goes straight down.
Right.
And that's when I know it's on, because they're very aggressive. And speaking of bluegill, look at who we got.
All right.
LBG.
How's it going, man?
We are live.
The bluegill slayer himself.
What's going on, fellas? Kim,
Oh, good, man. Good, man.
So, guys, I'm like always, if you have questions, put several question marks at the beginning of your comment. We got a special guest tonight, and we all gonna learn something. I feel we are all gonna learn something from this guy. And let's go ahead and get him at it and let him introduce himself. He just joined us.
Yep.
So, you been doing all right, LBG?
Oh yeah, been doing good, man. How about yourself?
Good.
Good, man.
Well, let me get this guy added and let him introduce himself.
Hey, how's it going, Hayden?
Hey, Hayden.
Good.
Going good. Can you hear us okay?
Hayden?
Yes, sir.
All right, cool, man. Yeah, appreciate coming on, man.
Without a doubt. Hey, Hayden, are you on your cell phone?
Yes, sir.
Is there a way that you could turn it sideways to see if it'll? There you
that's
go.
better. Yeah,
awesome.
A lot bigger. Yeah.
Got it now, huh?
Yeah. Cool, man.
So go ahead and introduce yourself.
Yeah, so I'm Hayden Jeffries. I am 21. I live in Brandon, Mississippi. My home lake is Ross Barnett Reservoir, right here in central Mississippi.
Cool. Yeah, you've been tearing up the crappie scene, man.
I've been working hard, that's for sure.
That's good, man. That's good. Yeah. That's good, man.
Any man that does really well catching crappie is a hard worker.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
Without a doubt. So how many wins you got up under your belt?
Ooh. So my stats this year, I fished 12 crappie tournaments and I've won 9 of them.
Oh, that's good. Yeah.
I don't know the total number, but that's my stats since January.
Right.
Awesome.
That's good, man. Yeah.
Putting in work.
Yep. Exactly.
Yeah, it's easy. I just got off the rain. Just blew me off the lake here about an hour or two ago. So.
Okay. You live on the water or pretty close?
I'm about 15 minutes.
Okay. Ross Barnett?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Cool. They said there's some big crappie over there.
Yeah. I mean, we're not a Grenada Lake, but we've got some, 2.5 pound fish.
Right.
I caught a 384 this spring out of it, which was very rare. You don't see those kind of fish come out of it very often.
Right.
A 2 pound fish is a good fish in this lake.
Right. Was that
2
a
pound?
lake record?
It was actually not. A good friend of mine caught one that weighed 404.
Oh man.
Wow.
2008. He was fishing a slip cork with a minnow under it, fishing the banks.
Oh
Nah.
man.
That's awesome. And to your comment a while ago about a 2 pound crappie, a 2 pound crappie is a good fish on any lake.
That's right. Yeah. Anytime I put a 2 pound crappie in the boat, I'm happy.
Yep.
That's right.
Oh yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
So what's your what boat? What type of boat do you run, and what's your electronic setup?
I am currently running a 2012 Skeeter FX20. I just bought a Ranger, a big 522, 22-foot boat.
Nice.
Got tired of fighting the wind, so I bought the biggest one they made. Currently, I run 2 helix mapping units. At the console, I run a 10-inch helix, and at the front, I just run a little 7-inch just for mapping. For my live scope, I'm running the 8616 XSV top of the line unit. It's super sharp, super nice. I'm running front, and then I'm running 2 40-pound. Did I lose y'all?
No, you're back now, but
Yeah.
you're kind
I
of
think I lost
skippy.
Second.
Yeah, it's kind of skippy.
Am I back?
Yeah.
I think I lost y'all for a
Are
second.
you on
Did it come
Wi-Fi
back?
or you on your cell phone?
Froze up a little bit.
Yeah.
I turned my Wi-Fi off. That should have helped.
Okay.
Am I back?
Yeah,
Not,
we can hear you, but
Yeah.
you're still frozen. It may clear up in a second. We can hear you
Yeah.
clearer now, though.
And it's probably that weather too, the rain too. So that has a lot of effect with it too.
Yeah.
Yep. Gil, how your fishing been?
It's been dying. I ain't been
So
fishing.
you hadn't been fishing?
I haven't been fishing since we made that trip in Outback.
No, we went out on a boat. Remember?
Where we go?
Conroe.
Yes, we did. We did. That's right. Yes, we did. That's right.
Went out there and spanked some of those nice bluegill.
Yep.
We did catch a few. I forgot about that trip. Yeah, that's
Yep.
after that. Yeah. That's about it. Like I say, just it's gonna come around. I'm waiting.
Yeah.
I'm waiting. So hopefully everything pan out the right way.
Yeah. Well, all we got to do is keep waking up and keep pushing.
Yep.
That's the main thing. I keep waking up. I ain't even worried about fishing.
I'm gonna wake up to fish.
Yeah.
That's right.
There you go. He's back.
Am I back?
Yep.
Yep.
Good,
Yep.
man. Yeah. Yeah, the internet, man. Mine's the same thing, off and on.
Yeah.
So did y'all get my whole setup, or did it cut out?
Now we heard that you got the 522 Ranger.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm running. I just bought me a big 522. Got tired of fighting the wind. Bought the biggest boat they made. Hopefully it'll fish in a little better. My current boat, my Skeeter, I'm running 2 helixes for mapping, just a helix 10 at the console, and then I run a helix 7 at the front.
Mm-hmm.
I'm running the 8616 XSV for live scope. Super sharp unit. I ran a 12-inch unit for a long time and ran across this unit and jumped on the deal, and couldn't be happier with it. I mean, it's a great unit.
Yeah.
Cool.
I run a Minn Kota Ultrex as a troll motor on the front, 112, and then I run 2 40-pound Minn Kota Endurance, or I don't remember what the model is. Just little hand control troll motors on the rear for brakes.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you wire those in?
I did.
With the switch or?
Yes, sir, I did.
Just
I kind of used Lamar Bunting's original idea.
okay.
He
Okay.
sent me some information. I went off of that.
That's
Kind of
good.
put my own twist on it.
Yeah.
Right.
Got to.
How you
You
like
know,
them breaks? What do you think overall?
They're nice for open water fishing.
Yeah.
You get out there chasing a fish on live scope, and he stops or turns or whatever. You can get on those breaks and stop with him.
Yeah.
They're definitely nice.
yeah.
Cool.
I tell you what, I'm thinking about how I can rig brakes up on my boat because I can tell you now it's needed.
Yeah, yeah. It's a huge benefit to have. Get on a fish. I try and run up on a fish pretty quick. I don't just try and ease up to them. I think they feel the presence of that boat a lot quicker if you're easing up to them. So I'll run up in there hot and get on those rear troll motors and slow the boat down.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Cool. That's
that's
what's
a
up.
big help for
Oh,
sure.
Yeah,
yeah.
definitely.
So you do you jig fish or what's your preferred technique?
Um, my preferred techniques, holding one pole in my hand. Um, fishing. I fish a lot of hair jigs, little 16th ounce hair jigs. That's my bread and butter.
Hmm.
I'll change her up a little bit. I'll fish some minnows. I'll fish some plastics, but my go-to is fishing a 16-foot rod with a little 1/16th ounce hair jig,
Okay.
quarter ounce tungsten weight above it, just to help get it down a little bit quicker.
Yeah.
Right.
Do you guide any?
I do, I do. Guiding right here on Ross Barnett. I've been doing that for about 4 months now,
Cool. That's
Awesome.
good.
Yeah.
That's good.
and I've been slammed. I mean, I'm running the last 2 weeks. I basically ran 2 trips a day for 5 days a week.
Oh
Oh
man,
wow.
Just
that's good.
it's busy, but I'm enjoying it. It's a lot of fun, getting to meet a lot of great people.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's
Sure.
no enjoying something that you love to do. You can't beat
Yep.
that.
Yep.
That's
I know that I'm old because I can do 2 trips back to back. I'm saying 1 trip a day, and I'm beat up.
oh it beats. I mean, you get on the water at 7 o'clock and you don't get done fishing until 5 o'clock in the afternoon. I mean, you just want to come home and crash.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially knowing you've got to get up and do the same thing again tomorrow. It
Right.
gets tiring for sure.
Without
It
a
does.
doubt. Without a doubt. Well, so what rods do you prefer using?
I fish Todd Huckabee rods, power crappie.
Okay.
I fish their 16-foot K rod. Tournament fishing, I'm fishing the 16-foot K rod. I like the extra reach of a 16-foot. Now, if I'm out there guiding, we're mainly fishing a 13-foot. It's a little bit easier to hold, a little bit easier to manage.
Uh
Yeah.
huh.
Um, and every now and then, if the wind blows really hard in the tournament, I'll pick up a 14-foot just because that 16 will blow around.
Right.
I've been in certain situations where the wind's blowing super hard, and you try and pick your jig up out of the water, and the wind just takes the rod and takes it backwards. So I
Right.
have to shorten up a little bit to keep that from happening.
Right.
Right.
What do you think about that live scope?
It's some days I love it, and some days I hate it.
Right.
If I chase a lot of tournaments, so if I get 6 or 7 weeks where I'm fishing a tournament every weekend, I'm pre-fishing during the week, stuff like that, and I get tired of looking at it.
Right.
Yeah.
Every now and then I just got to take a break. Just
Yeah.
go back to the basics.
Basic. Yeah.
Go find me a brim bed. Go find me some crappie spawn, and go find. This afternoon I went bass fishing. Just try and find something different and take my mind
Right.
off.
Yeah.
It's like staring at a computer all day.
It
You get
is.
an
Yep.
office job.
That's right. That's right.
Yep.
I mean, it's fun. It's a lot of fun, but every now and then I'll get a little not burnt out, but just get tired of staring at that thing. So I'll go
Right. Yeah.
find me something I can sit back. I can watch a cork. I can work a worm, whatever. Just do something different.
Something
Yeah.
different. Exactly.
And then
So
when I get yep.
have you been having to deal with any thermocline up there yet?
It's slowly starting to set up. Not too bad. If you get out there on river, you'll start to see a little bit of a thermocline. We're probably still a few weeks away from really starting to see that thermocline set up.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, I tell you what, it highly affects your readings
Yeah,
on live scope. Well, any
yeah.
unit actually, but
I just switched to the new transducer, the LS34. Been playing with it for about a week now, and trying to get some feedback on it, see what I think about it.
What do you think about it as of now?
I am not a fan at the moment.
Right.
I've heard that.
Yeah, it's slow. You've got to run noise rejector all the time. If you turn it on anything above off, you start to get a big delay.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of it. Now, I have a video that I took this afternoon. I was scanning 140 feet, and I could see stumps and see fish on them, which was pretty crazy. But when you get it dialed in, get it in there, you know where you want to fish, 20 or 30 feet, whichever. It's not the same. It's a little bit different.
Yeah.
I think they can work the bugs out of it. It just may take them a little bit of time.
Right.
One thing I can say on it is your target separation. So if you get a fish sitting, right on top of a stump or something like that, you don't second guess it. The fish is there. Fishing structure, the fish show up really good with it. Open water fish is a little bit different. You can kind of lose them. You've got to really pay attention to where they're headed or whatever.
Right.
I'm playing with it, tweaking settings, seeing if I can't find something I can work with.
Right.
As of now, I'll still be tournament fishing with the 32.
Right.
Yeah.
You have both of them on there, or?
I have both of them in the boat, but I'll just switch back and forth. They're not
Okay.
both.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
So what's your transducer setup? Is it on your trolling motor, or you have it on a pole, or?
Yeah, I'm mounted directly to the shaft of my Ultrex.
Yeah.
Okay.
I started using live scope right when it came out, and that's how the instruction manual said to do it.
Yeah.
So I mounted it on there, and I've been fishing with it since.
Yeah.
Right.
Just kind of learned, my boat control around that.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
That's the main thing, boat control.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, boat control is the main thing.
Yeah, I just seen somebody. Joseph just asked the same question. Where's your transducer? Yeah, and from what I've seen, that's one of the things that I look for on those takeoffs videos that I see, the big boy tournaments, and I may have seen one person with their live scope transducer on a pole.
Yeah, I mean, I would say that probably 90% of guys are running them on their trolling motor. Every now and then you'll see a boat that will have one on the trolling motor, and then they'll have one on a separate pole.
Yeah.
Because there's benefits of having both. I definitely see that in certain situations where a pole could maybe outfish mounted to the trolling motor shaft. If you get to strictly brush pile, say the wind's blowing 15 miles an hour and you're strictly brush pile fishing, to keep boat control, you've really got to work that trolling motor, and then you don't get to look at that pile near as much. So if you had a pole, you can spot lock that trolling motor, sit back off of it, and just work the pole. I could see that benefiting you.
Yep.
But most of these tournaments, we're not targeting congregations of fish. We're targeting one or two.
One fish. Exactly.
Right. They'll be open water. They might be on timber, possibly sitting on a stump. Really just targeting one or two fish at a time.
Right.
That's one thing I picked up on since I've started using live scopes. A big crappie most of the time by himself.
Right.
Without a doubt.
Sure.
Like I'm right now, Ross Barnett. I'm fishing brush piles. Most all of our crappie are either on timber or on brush piles, and I'm mainly fishing brush piles right now. And you'll catch a big crappie out of them every now and then, but most of the fish are catching their 10 to 12, 13-inch fish.
Cool.
So we got a question for you right here. Stephanie asked, "Do you find minnows versus jigs catch more than another, or does it depend on the mood of the crappie?"
The only time I'll put minnows in my boat's in a tournament situation. If I'm just going out there having fun catching fish, I don't want to deal with minnows. I don't want to have to constantly putting a new one on the hook, whatever. So I'll force myself to fish a jig,
Right.
But there's certain situations you get in where a minnow's gonna outfish a jig 100%. You get on a really finicky bite, and they're not wanting the jigs you put down there. You put a minnow down there, it might get you a few more bites.
Right.
I've seen in a couple of tournaments where you get in there and you're trying to fish your jigs because you want to fish jigs, but then it's just not working, and you've got to resort to that minnow.
Right.
Right.
I mean, at the end of the day, a crappie's going to eat what it normally feeds on, and that is basically a minnow.
Right.
I'm gonna ask you this: do they y'all have grass shrimp in your lake down there? I know a lot of crappie like them grass shrimp.
Yeah, we actually have them. I fished a tournament on Lake Washington a few weeks ago, an ACT on Lake Washington. I didn't know there was grass shrimp in there at the time, but the jig that I ended up catching my fish on was a clear tube jig. I mean, it's just straight clear. And
Straight clear.
I was playing with the profile of the bait, and I was watching putting it in the water and seeing, the contrast of how bright the bait was showing up in that clear water. And that's what I ended up fishing. It showed up good in the water. It looked like a natural presentation, and I started fishing with fish were killing it. And at the end of the tournament, I was talking to somebody. I was like, "Look, this is the jig that I was using." They were like, they were probably feeding on grass shrimp, and you didn't pick up on that, but that's probably what they were doing.
It's probably what they were doing, exactly.
Yep.
It was
a lot of people don't know that.
It was just a mid-south tube jig, a little 1.5, 2-inch bait, and it was solid clear. It had a little bit of red glitter in it.
Exactly.
It's such a simple little jig. Sometimes I think we get too complicated with all of our baits and profiles and colors.
We do.
That, and then you get back to the basics and
back to the basics, to natural colors.
That's right.
That's it.
So do you like running your unit hot, your live scope unit hot, or do you like a clear screen, or what's your preferences on that?
Most people that get in my boat wouldn't be able to stand to sit there and look at my unit all day. It's hot. I mean,
really?
It's real hot, and that's what I've got used to. I mean, I know if I've got my screen cranked up real hot that I'm not missing anything. I'm gonna see every detail. I'm gonna see everything, and it's just where I'm comfortable running it. Some people want a clear, crisp image, and I'm the complete opposite. I want it as messy and cluttered as I can get it.
Yeah, yeah. I'm one of those that like a clear screen.
Right.
I'm running gain. I'm running noise reject off, and I'm running gain up about 75%.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
So it's hot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's hot.
So we got another question here for you from Sid Lewis. He's over in Mississippi. He asked, "What color jigs have you been most successful with on the res?"
Let me dig in my box right here. I don't know if you can see it, but I've been catching a lot on an olive green. I don't know if you can see that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Just an olive green, a little bit of a natural tail. That's actually a duck feather tail. Something super simple. Really anything natural, your grays. Been catching them on some whites. Just the water's starting to clear up. We've got about 2 foot of visibility, 3 foot of visibility now. So I've got away from the chartreuse, the oranges, the pinks, the brighter colors, and I'm going now towards my summertime colors, which are going to be your whites, your grays.
Right.
A little bit of black, maybe a little bit of blue.
Awesome.
You think on your hand ties, you think the head shape makes a difference, like a minnow head, ball head, or?
All I've ever fished really was just a little ball head.
Yeah.
So on my hair jigs, I like a lighter head. I don't want to fish something super heavy.
Right.
And especially right now, the bite gets super, super finicky. The fish aren't really wanting to eat. There's shad everywhere. If they want to eat something, they just open the mouth and the
right.
shad.
Right.
That's right.
So my theory with using a little bitty light head this time of year is, if you're using an 1/8 ounce head and a crappie comes up and he just barely hits it. So he just, let's see, that's an 1/8 ounce, and he comes up and he just barely nips at it. Well, with that heavier head, he's got to hit it a little bit harder to get it in his mouth.
Right.
So with that lighter jig head, if that fish barely comes up and nips it, the odds of him actually accidentally sucking it in his throat are a lot higher.
Right.
Yep.
That's right.
And I'll go down, as the bite gets tougher, I'll go down to a 32nd or a 4th.
Right.
Just seems to get it in their mouth a little bit better this time of year when they're not really eating.
Yep.
Right.
Most of the bites you're getting, in the hot summer months on this lake are just a reaction bite. The fish aren't really wanting to eat your bait. They just react to it because you put it right there.
Right.
Same thing, with trolling crankbaits. You're just coming over the top of a pile of fish, and one of them just decides, "Oh, I'm gonna eat real quick," and he just grabs them. Grabs it.
Right.
Yep.
Do
So
you
I got
tie
another
your own
question.
jig?
What did you say?
I was asking, do he tie his own jig? Do you tie
I
your
do
own?
actually. I've got a guy who ties some for me, but I tie most of them for myself.
Yeah.
Okay.
I started doing that. I guess it was probably about a year ago. Just something to do when it was raining, when I wasn't fishing.
Can't get out to fish.
Bought me a little cheap vise from Bass Pro, a little $30-$40
Yep.
vise. Grabbed me some material, started playing with it. Now I've got, a peak rotary and
Oh
probably
man. Yeah.
more material than I know what to do with.
Yep.
I'll sit down and tie me a few dozen jigs. And
Hey,
I like to play with different profiles and presentations.
yeah.
Changing stuff up. I'll tie some big jigs, tie some small. Add all different kinds of. I just try all kinds of crazy stuff with it.
Right.
Yeah.
I really dig into what I can make a crappie eat.
Yep.
Right.
They never like that. Making them bite something that you made yourself.
Yeah, that's definitely fun.
Yeah.
Winning a tournament on a bait that you made is very special. I will say that.
Exactly.
So do you got Kelvin Walker here asked the question, do you use scent?
Very rarely. And if I do, I use the Potski fire gel. Only because, it's like a hair jig like this, it's got a little bit of a body right there, and you can wipe that gel into that body and it'll stay there for a long time. And in a tournament, usually at the beginning of the tournament, I'll be before start fish and I'll wipe it on all my hair jigs. And at the end of the day, you could still smell that hair jig and that will still be in there.
Exactly.
But I guess I forget about scent a lot of the times. I don't know that it's going to get a whole lot more bites. I haven't really got in a situation where I think it really benefited me. I think if a crappie's going to eat, he's going to eat. That's
Right.
the way.
Yeah.
Yep.
Put that bait in front of one, and he decides it's time to eat. He's going to eat. And if not, I don't think there's anything you can change to make him not.
Right.
That's me like back in the days, 10, 20 years ago. We didn't have that much scent.
Right. Right.
And they were still eating, doing the same thing.
Right. That's right. I use scent a little bit. If I get on a really finicky bite, I'll put it on there just to try and help me get, those one or two extra bites that can make a difference.
Yeah, that's right.
Awesome. So I got Murdoch that has a question here for you too. He wants to know what's your battery setups that you're running on your boat.
So I'm currently running 110 amp hours of lithium. It's a local guy to me. He builds the batteries, and I'm running it. Then I have a backup 50 amp hour 36 volt lithium. And in certain tournament situations, I'm killing 100 amp hours worth of lithium.
Oh wow.
Oh wow. What all you running on it?
Just the trolling motor.
Right.
Oh really? Wow.
I get in certain tournaments, and I know I've got to cover a lot of water. The fish are very scattered. Like I fished the state championship last weekend, and I was catching one tournament fish about every 3 miles.
Wow.
So I really have to, stay on the gas all day long.
Right.
Yeah.
And
So
for my live scope, I run a 100 amp hour. They call it a 12 volt. It actually runs about 13.1, 13.2.
Right.
Cool.
nice. So if you're scanning on your trolling motor, what speed or what are you running your troll? What power level are you running your trolling motor on while you're scanning for a fish?
It depends. Like in that Lake Washington tournament, there was a lot of trash fish in the water, and I really had to slow down a little bit to where I could pick it apart. Pick out the crappie in a group of 20 or 30 trash fish. But in most tournament situations, I run my trolling motor wide open all day.
Oh man.
So speaking of trash fish, what fish do you feel looks the most like a crappie?
I'd have to say a white bass.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, until they start, like when you just see one out there, say you see one at 50 foot, a white bass is going to look so much like a crappie.
Yeah.
Until you put a bait on them, and when you put a bait on them, a white bass is going to start dipping and dodging.
Exactly.
Right.
Swarming around one. But when he's just sitting out there perched up, he'll look just like a big crappie, and you'll think he's got one.
Yeah. So do
I
you
would
guys have goo over there?
Yes, that was going to be my second.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we fished tournament on Grenada last weekend. I've never caught a goo out of Grenada Lake, and we're fishing through there, and it's getting close to the end of the tournament. I had a pretty good bag of fish, and I'm catching these fish on timber, and they were sitting right down at the base of the trees. I mean, I was fishing 11, 12 foot of water, and they were laying basically on the bottom. And I saw one out there, and I was like, oh, my goodness, if this is a crappie, I mean, this is going to be the one right here.
Right.
And I ease up there to him, drop a jig down. I mean, he pitches up just perfectly and bites it. And I set the hook. I'm like, oh, yeah, get the net. Here we go. And the fish breaks this. The fish starts digging. I'm like, ooh, I don't know. This might not be a crappie. And we're both sitting there watching, hoping when it breaks the surface, it's a big crappie. And it breaks the surface, and it's about a 4-pound goo.
Yeah. They heartbreakers for sure.
Yeah, those. So in open water, a goo acts a little bit different. You can kind of pick it apart. But when they're sitting on structure, you can't tell one apart. They look basically just like crappie.
Yeah. So Slick has a question. He wants to know what lines, what type of line and what test line do you prefer?
Yeah, so fishing the way I fish, I kind of power fish really. I'm fishing a stiff rod, and when I stick a fish, I'm coming straight to the boat with him. I don't want to stop. I'm fishing 15-pound fluorocarbon, Seagar, and I started, back in my spider rig, and I would fish some 6-pound line, 8-pound line, and I would break off a lot of fish, and I didn't really think about it. And once I started live scoping, I was still fishing that 6 and 8-pound line, and I would break a whole bunch of fish off. I ended up going to 8 or 10-pound, and I would occasionally still break a fish off on the hook set. Then I went to 12-pound, and I would still very rarely I would break a big fish off when I set the hook. So I went to 15-pound, and I fixed all my problems.
So no braid for you, huh?
I don't care for braid. I've tried it on several different occasions. I've tried all the new, slick braids, whatever. I've tried the Power Pro, big heavy braid. And it doesn't work for me. It just wraps up too bad, in my opinion.
Okay. So we have another question from Fly Guys TV that wants to know what's your PB.
My PB is a crappie that weighs 3.84 pounds.
Man, that's right at 4 pounds, y'all. I'd be calling that fish 4 pounds. Wow. What lake did you get it out of?
It came out of Ross Barnett Reservoir right here in central Mississippi.
Wow.
During a tournament, right?
It was. It actually won.
Yeah.
That fish was worth right at $4,000 in that.
Oh,
time.
man.
Yeah. Man. And I knew it. I knew it when I caught it. I mean, you don't see a 3-pound crappie very often out of this lake, especially not one that's that 384.
That's right.
When I saw that fish on the live scope, I knew it was the biggest crappie I've ever seen.
Man.
And the first presentation, she didn't bite it. I almost had a heart attack. She started running from me. She ran out there about 25, 30 foot and stopped again. I eased up to her, dropped the bait down. She pitched up just perfect and bit it that time.
Man.
And we luckily got her in the boat. And when Dad turned around and set her in the floor in the dip net, I turned around and I said, yeah, that's the biggest crappie I've ever seen.
Man.
And I didn't even want to weigh the fish. I told him, I was like, let's just put it in live well. I don't even want to know. I mean, it was just a massive fish.
Yeah.
I've never seen anything like it.
Man.
And I hung it on the scale, and we're both sitting there. It weighed like on my handheld scale, it was weighing like 367, 370, right in there.
And for those that haven't seen a 3-pound fish, man, I'm gonna tell you, those crappie are monsters.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it was right at 17 inches long, but that fish had all its weight in its girth. I mean, it was thick.
Yeah.
It was thick.
Yeah. Yeah, they get super thick and super tall.
Yeah.
It makes a 2-pound fish look small, really.
Oh, yeah.
So I actually had a picture of a 3-pounder that I caught in Grenada earlier this spring, and Dad was holding it, and he was holding a 2-pounder next to it. And you would think, oh, look at that little bitty fish that's next to that fish, but it was actually a 2-pound crappie.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, exactly. They make them look small.
Yeah.
Makes them look small.
Yeah.
Did you get it mounted or replica?
Taxidermist right now.
Okay, cool.
Nice. So we got another question here from John Maddox Outdoors. Asked, what do you think the best presentation is for finicky fish? Hold still, swing by, drop and stop.
Yeah, so you kind of have to judge that. During the winter, when you get a finicky bite in the winter, I'm going to drop it down and I'm going to hold it on the fish's nose. This time of year, the bite's finicky, but it's a different kind of finicky. The fish they'll still react to a bait this time of year, and they'll chase a bait. So I mainly pitch at fish. You know, I get them out there 20 foot from it. I just kind of pitch it out there and let it swim by them, or I'll even cast at fish this time of year. In a tournament, I'm going to fish straight vertical 90% of the time.
Yeah.
Cool.
What's your preferred depth to fish?
Ooh, depth of water.
Yeah, depth of water.
I'm a deep water fisherman, but I don't want to catch my fish deep, if that makes sense.
Right.
That makes a lot of sense.
I want the fish to be out there roaming in 20, 25 foot of water, but I want them to be 8 to 10 foot under the surface.
Right. Easier to control.
That's right. I mean, 8 to 10 foot seems like my ideal depth to catch a fish.
Right.
You've got enough room to where you don't have to have, you know, a short line when you stick the fish. And they're not super deep to where you have to start worrying about left and right and dealing with getting a bait down there to them quick enough.
Right.
So I fished a tournament on Grenada last summer, and the fish were 18 to 22 foot down, and they were running. And it was the hardest thing I've ever done.
Right.
I mean, to get a bait down to a fish that's running at 22 foot and he's running left or right, he's not running a straight line. I would have to work on one fish for 10 or 15 minutes before I ever put a bait in front of it.
Right.
I ended up, by the end of the day, I was fishing right at 3 ounces of weight.
Man.
Wow.
Just to where I would see a fish and I would try and send a rocket straight down to him.
Right.
Get it to him.
Because it's something about Grenada Lake fish. I guess they're so smart. I don't know. But they don't run a straight line when they run from you. I mean, they run left to right, up and down, and back and forth. By the end of the summer, once all those boats sit there and fish for them all summer, you'll see a fish. You'll get on him, and you won't pay attention. Most people wouldn't pay attention, but you'll get on a fish, and he'll start running from you. And before you know it, he'll run around to the back of the motor.
Man.
Because he knows that's the only place he can get away from you is if he, you know, runs around. So you've got to spin the boat around, try and get back on the fish.
Yeah.
Those fish up there get really smart.
Yeah. So before live scope, what was your preferred technique to catch crappie?
I did a lot of spider rigging. Even after live scope came out, I was still, you know, a spider rigger at heart. To this day, I'm a spider rigger at heart. I don't do it much anymore. Just because, you know, live scope's such a more effective way to fish. But I'm a spider rigger at heart. That's what I grew up. Well, didn't grow up doing, but when I started crappie fishing, that's what I started doing. Yeah. My all-time favorite way to catch crappie is under a slip cork on the bank during the spawn, without a doubt. I mean, it's just something about it. Nothing compares to it. I love fishing around Cypress. I fish a lot of docks on the Mississippi River. And I love fishing a slip cork around the cypress trees during the spawn.
Yeah. I'm from Louisiana and I love it. Fishing them cypress trees.
But I was a spider rigger for, you know, 2 or 3 years hardcore. I'd go out there basically the same way I'm doing now. I'd go out there as much as I could and put out my 8 trolling poles. And I didn't really know what I was doing. I was just getting into crappie fishing. I'd get lucky every now and then and catch a few fish.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, since I've gotten live scope, man, it's hard to believe we caught. Yeah, I was fairly successful catching them before live scope, and it makes you wonder how. With a lot of times we gotta get that jig. You know, it seems like an inch from that fish before he realizes it's there, and then you know, still have to entice most of them to bite. And one of the things that what is one of the most one of the biggest things that you feel you had a misconception about before live scope that you see now?
I don't know how many people did this, but when I would go out and I would spider rig, say if I was fishing in 12 foot of water, I would drop my pole straight to the bottom and I'd reel up 6 inches and I'd have 2 jigs, you know, I'd have 1 6 inch off the bottom, I'd have 1 2 foot off the bottom, and that's how I'd fish all the time.
Yeah.
I never even thought to fish that upper, you know, 3 or 4 foot of the water column. I didn't think crappie lived in that. I've always heard, you know, 8 to 12 foot, 8 to 14, whatever. So that's where I always fished. You catch so many crappie right up there under the surface that you would never think there, you know, if you couldn't see them.
Right.
That's right.
I've learned that presentation is a really big, you know, a really big part of it. I don't know how I used to catch fish spider rigging because
Right.
I mean I would hate to see what my baits look like when I was out there trolling around.
Right.
Yeah.
Strode all up under the boat, constantly moving left and right. It
Yeah.
had to have been a horrible presentation, but we still caught fish. So
Still worked.
I think sometimes we overcomplicate, what we're
Yeah.
doing with the live scope.
Yeah.
You think
Could
the
you-
fish detect that live scope, either the rays from that transducer or something?
I am not 100% certain, but I believe a crappie or I believe a fish can feel when you hit him with a beam.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I believe so too.
And the way
Yeah.
I know is if you get on some trash fish, like a catfish or something like that, when you turn your scope to him, he'll move.
Yep.
And there's really no way to prove that, they can feel that, but I think they're definitely feeling something.
Right.
And it could be the presence of the boat coming towards them that they feel.
Right.
They can tell when there's a 22-foot boat over their head drifting.
Right.
I don't know if it's the live scope or I don't know if it's the boat presence.
Right.
I know the bass fishermen, when they get up in the shallow water, they're going to turn all their sonar off. They want every transducer in their boat turned off because they believe that those bass can hear those things pinging. So
Right.
I definitely think they're probably feeling it.
Right.
I've noticed on some of these lakes, the crappie are starting to live on bottom a lot more.
Yeah.
You'll go out there and you won't see a whole lot of crappie, and that's because they're laying in the mud. And I think that might be part of it.
Right.
Yeah.
And those are probably the times that when you went spider rigging pre-live scope, you nail them.
Right. Yeah, because I would drop my jig right
Exactly.
down the bottom and I would try. That's right.
Yep.
And I didn't pay attention to what I was doing with my spider rigs. I'd be trolling along and I would hang a rod up while I was trying to, mess with that rod, get it unhung. Three rods would go down and I would catch fish.
Right.
And now seeing it on live scope, you get around the stump, there's 15 or 20 fish sitting on the stump.
Yep.
That first pole trolls in there, gets hung up. Those other ones come in there and sit right next to it, and those fish start feeding on them.
Right.
Right.
That's one thing I didn't. Crappie are very structure-related fish.
But they are.
On most lakes, now you get on the core lakes in Mississippi, and not so much. You very rarely catch a fish off of wood.
So when you while you're guiding, are the people wanting to use live scope or are you spider rigging or?
We're mainly single pole live scoping.
Okay.
Most of what I do a lot of, I just come get in your boat. Say
Really?
You're having trouble getting your live scope set up. You're not comfortable using your settings or whatever, and I just come hop in the boat with you for 4 hours and run through everything, teach you how to use the unit, to show you what you're looking at, show you how to put your jig on a fish, simple stuff like that. And then I don't actually have spider rig mounts mounted on my boat anymore.
Okay.
Pretty much strictly single pole live scoping.
Yeah. So if you had $1 for every time you've heard I can't see my jig, how rich would you be?
Most of the time when I hear that, I'll tell them, well, that's because you're not on the fish.
Right.
I'll tell them, the fish is right here. I'll show them exactly where the fish is at. They'll pitch at the fish and they'll completely miss it. And, where's my jig? Where's my jig? Well, you're going to have to come out and try again because the fish is 4 foot to the left.
Yeah.
And it takes a lot of patience.
It does.
They've never used things before. They don't know what they're.
Yeah.
So you've got to have a lot of patience to guide with live scope.
Without a doubt.
With with spider rigs, you just set your poles and basically you're doing all the work. You're running the trolling motor, keeping the boat in position, all that stuff.
Yeah.
And they're just watching, waiting for a pole to go down. With live scope, they've actually got to put the bait where it needs to be.
Yeah.
Right.
And if I get somebody who if I notice they're not picking up on it, they're not figuring it out, I'll get them to just drop the jig in the water. I'll say, look, just drop it straight out of the nose of the boat.
And you put the jig on the fish.
I'll drive it to the fish with the trolling motor.
Yeah. I see that a lot. I have to do that a lot also.
Are you standing when you're fishing? Or are you sitting or?
When I'm tournament fishing, I'll sit on a butt seat. So I'll basically standing up, kind of leaning on the butt seat. Guiding, we're sitting down. It's a lot easier.
Yeah.
I can get two people sitting down on the front.
Right. You think it matters catching fish, or it's about the same?
I think you're a lot more mobile when you're standing up.
Yeah.
You know, you can get around a lot easier. If you get to chasing a fish, it's so much easier doing it standing up.
Right.
I fished sitting down in tournaments for a long time, and when I stood up, I noticed a huge difference, and I haven't.
Right. Right.
It gets tiring, you know. Your back will start hurting, your legs will start hurting.
Yeah.
It seems to be a better way to fish.
Right.
So you mentioned. Go ahead, LBG.
Do you think last go was a 1-man game or a 2-man game?
That's exactly where I was ready to go.
For tournament fishing, well, really any kind of fishing, last go's a 1-man game.
Yeah. Right. I think crappie fishing is a 1-man game in itself without last go.
It is. I mean, if you're spider rigging, you know, you've got 8 poles out. You can put a double seat rig up there. You watch your 4 poles. I watch my 4 poles.
Yeah.
Right.
But like you say, you fishing in cypress trees. It's kind of hard to get somebody from the back of the boat to the front of the boat.
That's right. And I mean, in certain situations like that, it's still a 1-man game. It's up to you to put your bait, you know, around the tree, get it on the fish, whatever.
Exactly.
Live scope is definitely a 1-man game, and you're starting to see that a lot in the tournament world.
Yep.
Yeah.
So many guys are strictly fishing. You know, just one person fishing and one person doing everything else, keeping the boat running.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you mentioned that you have 2 clients sitting up on the front of your deck. Are you still allowing them both to drop the jig, or are you having them drop one at a time?
I'm actually sitting up there with them. Me and one of my clients will be sitting there.
Okay.
I'll be running the trolling motor, you know, pointing stuff out on the screen of where to put baits, showing them the trolling motor head, whatever.
Yeah.
And then, you know, let them catch a couple fish. We'll rotate out, get the next one, let them catch a couple fish. It gives them a time to, you know, take a break, go get something to drink, get a snack, whatever.
Yeah.
And when you're really catching fish, it's not a long period. You might go 5 minutes and the next person will be back up or whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
So, and then sometimes they'll, you know, one of them will get tired, hot, whatever, and the other one will kind of take up some fish for a while.
So we got a question here from Spot 'em Got 'em Fishing that asks, do you think that the 34, the LVS 34, have a smaller cone compared to the LVS 32?
I'm playing with that right now. I run a 0 degree offset on my 32. I haven't found a 0 degree offset for my 34 yet.
Yeah, I have them. So if you need one, let me know. I have a box full.
I need to go ahead and find me one.
Yeah.
The cone is super finicky on the 34. I mean, it's different.
Uh-oh. We're breaking up again.
The wind started blowing pretty good. So, might be. Let's see. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Got me?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, we can hear you. Can you hear us?
Okay. Yeah. So the cone is super finicky on that 34. I can't figure it out. Like the left and right on it's different. I'm trying to make the adjustments to get my baits lined up, and it's not the same as the 32. And I think it's just because I was so comfortable with the 32, I knew exactly where I was putting the bait. This afternoon I was sitting off of some brush piles, sitting 30, 40 foot off of them and casting at them. And I kept missing. I'm like, what am I doing? Like, is it something with me, or is it something with this cone? I don't know. It's weird. I'm trying to figure it out. I'm not really sure yet.
Yeah. So let me ask you this: on the 32, did you have the 0 degree?
Yes, I run.
Okay.
Just to tighten that cone up a little bit. I like it tight. You know, I want to either be there or not be there. I don't want to kind of catch a glimpse of my bait and be like, oh, I'm on the fish, but you're not, you know, not
right
on the fish.
Right. Do you think it's an advantage running that 0 versus the 8 degree?
I think it just helps you know, you're either on the fish or you're not with the
right.
The 8 degree, you'll get, if you get close to the fish but you're not really on them, you might still see your jig while you're looking at the fish. With the 0 degree, it's a lot less of that. You're either there.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm actually going to start playing with a negative degree pretty soon.
Okay.
Just seeing how tight I can get that cone and still let it function.
Right.
I'm going to mount a 0 degree offset to the barrel of the trolling motor, and I'm going to start rolling it down.
Oh, cool.
To get a negative offset and just see what happens. I mean,
right.
I'm all about trying something different, trying something new, and that's one thing I've thought of that maybe could help, maybe not. I don't know.
Right. Yep.
Right. I agree about that.
Yeah, hit me up after the show. I have a box full of 0 degrees for the 34s.
Okay.
Yeah.
I need to try one. I like the 34 somewhat, but at the same time, I'm not a fan of it.
Right.
But I've only been running it. I might have a total of maybe 12 to 15 hours behind one.
Right.
So I can't give an honest, true opinion on it. I probably have 20,000 behind the 32. So
Yeah. Yeah.
it's really no comparison.
Well,
I need some more seat time.
Right.
I had my opinion before it hit the market. And my thinking was they were targeting bass fishermen.
I think
And yeah. There's no reason that you need to see a crappie 80 feet in front of your boat.
Yeah, so I was playing with it this afternoon. I got in some deep water and was fishing some stumps, and I was picking out fish on stumps at 140 feet.
Yeah.
With the 34, and I think that's just a little bit overkill.
Yeah, when I first seen that, I forget who put that video out, but it was before the transducers were actually available for the public. And far out, 80 feet, it gave a very clear reading.
Yeah.
But when they got, and they were over deep water then also, but when they got into around 15 foot of water, anything from 40 foot in was trash.
Yeah, so I'm noticing when you start bringing that screen in, it looks really good. If you got your screen set on 90 foot, the screen is perfect. I mean, it looks great. But when you start bringing it in, getting in there where you want to fish, 40, 30, 20 feet, your cone separation is very weird.
Wow.
Your beams just, they don't match together right. You'll get a little bit of somewhat of a blind spot every now and then from those beams not fitting together right. I'm not really sure what's going on with it. And that could be something I could tweak out with settings. I'm not really sure.
So do you calibrate your A-horse?
I actually have it turned off.
Okay.
It really depends. I mean, if it's not giving you a problem, if you take the unit out of the box, put it on the boat, and it's not giving you problems, run it. If it starts to give you problems, try and calibrate it.
Yeah.
If that doesn't fix it, turn it off and manually set your pitch. That's. I'm pretty sure my unit right now is set up, and it's just manual pitch angle set in there.
Okay.
I don't think that unit's calibrated. I'm not sure. I haven't calibrated it since.
Right. How long you been running the 16-inch?
Ooh. March.
Okay.
March or beginning of April. So I've got a few behind it.
Right. Yeah, that's the same unit I run, and I love it.
I love it. I mean, it's. I didn't realize what I was missing. If I would have known it, I would have bought it 2 years ago.
Right.
Yeah. So what unit were you running before?
I ran the 126 Ultra.
Okay.
Yep. And the 8616's night and day. I mean, it's just such a sharp unit. The processing's so great. It's super crisp, super clean. There's a few things about it that I don't care for. So if you're trying to range in, range out really fast, and if you click, your plus and minuses on both sides of the distance that it's showing you, and if you click the distance, it jumps to auto.
Right. Exactly.
And it's auto, and then your depth jumps, and then everything else jumps, and you're like, okay, stop. So you got to go through, fix everything.
Right.
And with the touchscreen unit, I get clients in the boat, and they'll see a fish. And like, is this the fish? And they'll reach up and touch the screen, and it'll pause it.
Yeah.
But other than that, I love the unit. It's a great unit. If I had to suggest somebody that was going out buying a live scope, what unit, if somebody's asking me what unit to buy, a 1222, hands down.
Right.
I mean, that's top of the line best unit on the market for live scope. pretty much. I mean, just the ease of using that unit is superior of every other unit Garmin makes.
Right.
So we got
Yep.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
It's such an easy unit to use.
Right.
That knob is super nice.
Yeah. That's the one I started on.
I love the knob, just being able to go in and out super fast. I get in a lot of clients' boat, and they've been fishing live scope for a while, and they never range farther than 20 foot. And that's just where they fish all the time. And I get in the boat, and they're like, "Okay, what's my first problem?" I'm like, "Here's your problem," and I'll just reach up, spin the knob, and just run it out there. They're like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "I'm getting to where we can find the fish." And they're just blown away that, I'm ranging out to 60, 70 foot to find a crappie. They're so used to just sitting there on 20 foot and watching what basically swims under the boat.
Right.
Do you think the bite slows down as the bait gets hotter? I see that question by Hold'em.
Right.
Sometimes it can, when you get into August, September, and it gets really, really hot. Your fish are going to feed better the first hour and the last hour of the day. You get up in the heat of the day, and it kind of slows down, especially if you get a lot of boat pressure on the lake. A lot of ski boats, pleasure boaters riding around. We get that a lot on this lake.
Right.
Most of the brush piles I'm fishing are on lower in the lake, which is kind of the ski area of the lake. And once you get all those boats running around, it kind of just pressures those fish, and they slow down a little bit.
Yeah,
I agree.
Most of my trips I'm running early in the morning, trying to get them done before it gets hot. Just it gets miserable sitting out there in 100-degree weather fishing all day.
It does. Quick.
Yeah.
So Todd Phelps has a question here for you. He asked, "Do you see many tournament guys using Humminbird 360?" And I'm gonna add a little bit to that question as to, do you see how many guys do you see running other live tech besides Garmin?
I don't see 360 much. We're starting to see some guys running the perspective mode. They'll run 2 units, 2 transducer, and they'll have the perspective, which is basically the same thing as 360.
Right.
It's live, but it's pretty close. I've never actually laid my eyes on a 360, so I don't know the comparison. But I don't see 360 a whole lot. And for the most part, a lot of people are running the Garmin in the tournament world, live scope. For crappie fishing, I think they're superior. I've never played with active target. I've spent some time behind the Mega Live. Not necessarily a fan of it. It's usable. You can catch fish with it. And I think if I got used to looking at it, I could probably be fine with it.
Yeah.
I've got about a total of 6 hours behind the Mega Live, and it's so much different. You'd have to basically step back and relearn everything you know.
Right. So you talked about your settings a while ago. I don't think you mentioned the ghost reject. Do you run ghost reject?
So I run everything turned off. I run noise reject off. I run TVG off, and I run ghost reject off.
Okay.
I run a color gain at 75%. I don't run a grid on my screen. I don't like the grid.
I mean, I'm with you on that.
I find myself constantly, trying to look through the grid.
Yeah.
I run aqua color palette. It just seems to work best. And I run gain about 70 to 74 most of the time. One thing I can say is bottom depth. Everybody's constantly wanting to set their unit 2 foot below the bottom. They want it to where they get a full screen of what's on the water. I never touch my bottom depth.
Oh, really?
It's set on 20 foot, and I fish on 20 foot all the time. I mean, if I get in 6 foot of water, it's on 20 foot. If I get in 25, it's on 20 foot.
Okay.
Because it doesn't change the size of my fish. If you're constantly up and down on that bottom depth, it's going to change your picture. Your fish are going to be different sizes. Very rare situations I'll go up to 12 foot, and that is as far as I'll go and still be able to get a good image.
Right.
Anything past 12, you get up in that 9, 10 foot on the bottom depth, and it really blows your image out. Can't really tell what you're looking at. But for the most part, I'm running 20 foot all the time.
Wow. What do you say? For instance, you see you scan a fish out there at 60 foot. You run up on it. What's your forward range to fish that fish?
So with the 126, I used to fish at 30, and I felt like that was my number. Well, then I started fishing at 20, and I really liked it because it blew your image up a little bit. You could see your jig a lot better. You could see the
Right.
fish a lot better.
Mhm.
And when I went to the 86, it'll let you go in 5-foot intervals. So I am now fishing on 25 feet.
Okay.
Okay.
It gives me a little bit of room. If the fish runs, I can, catch up with him without having to reach down and get
Right.
say if there's two big fish right there next to each other and I catch one of them and the other one takes off running, well, I've got my hands occupied. I'm catching a fish. I can get on that one and still kind of have enough distance in there that I can try and stay on him without having to back out. And when I'm chasing a fish, you get some crappie that really like to run and they can run fast.
Mm-hmm.
I've watched crappie run off my screen and I can't catch them running 3 miles an hour.
Right. Yeah.
I don't know how fast they're moving, but they're moving.
Yeah.
Couple flicks of that old big tail they got back there. It moves them pretty good.
Oh yeah.
That's right. I like 20 foot and I like 25, and occasionally I'll fish at 30. When I'm casting in brush piles, I'll set my screen on 40 feet and I'll put the pile at about 30.
Okay.
That's where I'm comfortable. Most people can make a cast 30 feet pretty easily. I'm casting basically when I'm casting brush piles, I'm fishing a double 16th rig. So I'm fishing an 1/8 ounce of weight, casting it with a little ultralight rod. It'll cast that pretty easily.
Yeah.
I don't try and get too close when I'm casting, just because I don't want the fish to really know that I'm there.
Right.
You cast in there and pull a couple fish off of it, you can kind of fire the school up, and if you stay back off of them, you can catch a lot more fish.
Right.
Doing that, I'm gonna plug my phone up here real quick. It's about to die. Let me grab the charger.
All right.
So Dwight got this question right here. When scanning fish in open water, do you face towards the fish head before casting to them?
Yeah, you have to keep that fish on your screen at all times.
Yeah. Well, my thing is I want my boat. I want to try to keep my boat facing into the wind.
Yep, and on that fish.
And on the fish.
Yep.
Yeah.
So basically, when I'm scanning, I'm scanning into the wind. So if I do see a fish, my boat's already in the direction it needs to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if I'm in an area that the wind's blowing from my back, I'll circle back to where I want to start scanning it, and then come through that area scanning.
I'll see some fish on my left, 40 feet out, and sometimes I won't even mess with them because it throws you all off.
Yeah.
Yep. I just stay in my path. Hey, I'm going to go this way in the wind, and I'll scan 45, 50 degrees each way, and I'll just stay on that course. You start turning your boat 90 degrees, now you're sideways, and it just there's plenty of fish in front of you.
Right.
Yeah.
Unless it's a huge fish,
Yeah.
Yeah. So tournament fishing, I don't really let the wind factor in much. If the wind starts blowing really hard, I fish downwind 90% of the time.
Right.
So you fish with the wind or against the wind?
It just depends on how hard the wind's blowing. If it's a light wind, I'll fish upwind. But once my boat starts slapping, I'm gonna turn around and I'm gonna fish downwind.
Oh wow!
I know Matthew Rogers talked about that. Less boat slap.
Right. I can use those rear trolling motors, to
That's
stop.
right. You got the brakes, so that's why you can do that.
And if I see a fish, slightly left or slightly right, say he's 20 foot out to my right, and I see him at 60 foot, I'll try and snatch the boat over there real quick and get lined up with him.
Right.
To where directly downwind of me. So basically, all I have to do at that point is, work those rear trolling motors.
Right.
I got in a tournament at Sardis, our state championship here, probably a month ago, and the wind was blowing 20 miles an hour out of the west, and I was fishing the east end of the lake. There was, I don't even want to know how big these waves are. I mean, they were, I don't know how I didn't sink my boat that day. I'll say that. You would turn around and you would see a wave and you would, I don't even know, you would freak out. I mean, you turn around and 4 foot taller than the outboard motor and you're like, oh my goodness. It's
man.
coming. Get ready. So a wave would come and it would pick the rear end of the boat up and it would dunk the nose under the water.
Oh wow!
And then when the nose got picked up, it would dunk the rear end of the boat underwater. It was sketchy. So I was fishing downwind all day. I couldn't turn around or I would have sunk my boat. I had to fish downwind.
Yeah.
And those rear trolling motors weren't enough. So my dad sat back there with the big motor running. And we were fishing downwind, and I would see a fish at 60 foot, and I would tell him, all right, put it in reverse. And he would bump the big motor in reverse just to slow that boat down because I couldn't stop it with those trolling motors.
Oh, man.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's bad.
Yeah.
Once he got the boat stopped, I could hold it with those motors, but I couldn't stop the boat with them.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, if I saw a crappie at 70 foot, I couldn't stop by the time I got to him.
Right.
Wow.
You just have like a stomp switch to turn them trolling motors off?
Just a little momentary switch.
Okay, on off.
When you're holding it, it's on. Let off, it's off.
Okay. So you're holding it. That's cool.
So speaking of batteries again, what are you running? Your troll motor up front is 36 volt,
right?
And you mentioned, are you wanting one single 36 volt
yes.
troll motor battery for those? I think you said 100 amp. I think
I'm running 110 amp.
110 amp. So
it's a single battery.
Okay, and what do you running your rear your brakes on?
I've actually got an inverter off of my 36 volt battery.
Oh, okay.
Reduce it down off of that and go to 12 volts.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Where I don't have to add an extra battery.
Yeah.
Keep it light.
Yeah.
Keep it light.
And then I have a spare system in there, which is another 50 amp hours.
Right.
Because I'm pretty prone to killing at 110.
Yeah. Plan on stepping that up some?
Yeah, this Ranger, I'm going to have over 200 amp hours worth of trolling motor.
Oh, wow.
We're trying to figure I've got an area, I've already measured it out, sent it to my battery guy. I'm like, all right, this is what I've got to work with. How much can we put there?
Oh, cool.
So, however many amp hours he thinks he can fit in that area, that's what the boat's going to have in it. I'm hoping to get at least 200 in there because you turn the oil Trex on 10 and you hold it for 8 hours and it drinks some juice.
Right.
Most people are, how are you killing 110 amp hours of lithium? Well, I'm getting in there, I'm turning it wide open, and I'm holding it for 8 hours.
Yeah.
It drinks it.
Yep.
So here's a question that's something different, but we all like to talk about. How do you like your crappie cooked?
I would say my favorite way would be baked. Just get you a pan, put you a little bit of olive oil on it, lay your fillets on there, season them to your taste, put a little olive oil on top, and bake them at 350 for about 20 minutes.
Okay.
Super healthy, super good.
Yeah.
Taco time.
Yeah, that's right. I love me a crappie taco.
Yes, sir.
It's hard to beat that.
Oh, yeah.
I totally agree.
I've been seeing a lot of people talk about crappie cakes.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to try that pretty soon. It definitely looks good.
Yeah, they're okay. They're okay.
And it's hard to beat fried.
Yeah.
Hard to beat it. It's not good for you, but it's hard to beat it.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Tell you what, I don't know if you've ever tried it yet or not, but blacking is pretty good also.
Yeah, I keep saying I'm gonna get me some blackening seasoning, but I've yet to do it.
Yeah.
I need to get that.
So what other lakes do you guide on? Just Ross Barnett right now?
For the most part.
Okay.
It's really the only lake that's within a couple hours of me.
Right.
I'm gonna try and do a few trips on Grenada here and there.
Right.
Maybe go up there for a week at a time and just try and book up for a week, make it worth driving up there.
Yeah.
I've got a few little smaller lakes around here, but I don't really want to pressure them too much.
Right.
Mainly Ross Barnett. I mean, you can catch fish year round on it.
Right. Yeah, give everyone your phone number. They can contact you for a guide trip.
Yeah, my phone number is 601-608-8098. Or you can look me up on Facebook, Hayden Jeffries or Hayden Jeffries Fishing. Just shoot me a message on there.
Yeah. Yeah, we have a lot of people from Mississippi on here.
Yep.
Yep.
So we have Dwight Keller Fishing that asked, even though you have the brakes, the trolling motor brakes, do you have paddles on your boat?
On my Skeeter, I do not. My Ranger will be set up with drift paddles.
Okay.
As well as my, trolling motors.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm looking at going to a 24-volt system for my rear trolling motors.
Oh, cool.
Wow.
Just to have, that much more stopping power.
Right.
Right.
Like if I were to get in that situation I was telling y'all about, where I didn't have enough to stop it, maybe that extra
Right.
Yeah.
50 or 60 pound thrust would do it.
Right.
Yeah.
So the trolling motors that you have currently, or when you do go to the 24-volt system, do you have a way of adjusting the power?
Yeah, so those little hand controlled trolling motors, they have a little speed switch. I mean, it's just a little circular, I don't know, about a 3-inch circle, and it's just a switch. And when you turn that, handle when it's in the head, all it's doing is turning that switch.
Right.
To send that power however it needs to be sent. So all I did was take that speed switch out, mount it in my rear compartment, and then wired in the same way it was wired in with the head of the trolling motor.
Okay.
So, if the
cool.
wind is super bad, I can go back there and I can turn them down a little bit or turn them up or whatever. And I've got 2 switches back there, and I've got 2 momentary switches on the front, so I can have one switch set on my reverse setting, and then I can have one switch set on my forward setting.
Oh, cool.
So I've got 2 buttons, and I can work forward and reverse. Say if I need to bump up on the fish a little bit, I can hit the rear trolling motors and move forward. A couple.
Right.
Cool.
If you're super close to it.
Yeah.
All right, just to keep from turning, that front trolling motor on.
Right. To spook them or whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like that. I haven't heard that before. That's a pretty good idea.
That's brand new.
A little bit of thought into that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
And Terry Stewart, for the longest time, he's ran those Tarovas on the back of his boat. And he's been able to do that. He's been able to leave one pointed backwards, one pointed forwards, and he can stop his boat or he can move it forward. So I was trying to figure out how to do that with my, little cheap ones.
Right.
And that's what.
So say for instance, we had a guy that was brand new, just got him a boat, just got live scope. What would be your biggest few tips to give him to get good at crappie fishing?
The first thing I would say would be to go to vertical timber. Just because most of the time you're going to have a visual of your target. It'll teach you accuracy. You'll be able to see, okay, there's a fish on this tree, and then you'll be able to look up and say, okay, the tree's right there. So you'll have a visual that'll help you get better at lining your bait up, lining stuff like that up. You can watch the stump, watch the fish. Learning what shape of fish you're looking for. There's so many trash fish in these lakes. Your crappie's going to look like a football 100% of the time. If it's not shaped like a football, it's most likely not a crappie.
Yeah.
I teach accuracy, getting your bait where it needs to be. That's definitely a big part. And a big tip that I preach, I don't know how many people realize this, but I fish with my left hand. I hold the rod with my left hand. I mount on the left side of my trolling motor. It makes me more accurate just from being there, like when you're working that trolling motor and you're holding your pole, moving left, moving right. You're naturally on that side of the trolling motor just because you're holding it with that hand.
Right.
So if I were to be holding it with my right hand, I would suggest putting it on the right side of the trolling motor.
Right.
It just seems to help you with your accuracy, helps you line your bait up a lot better. And you're not fighting the trolling motor, trying to get over the top of the trolling motor.
Right.
As much.
Good tips. Good tips.
Presentation's a big thing, When the fish reacts to your bait, what do you do with it? I mean, most of the time when I see a fish react to my bait, I'm slowly lifting up on it. Making the fish work for it.
Yep. Not letting him get a good look at it.
That's right. Keep him interested.
Yep.
Yeah.
And if you notice he's letting up, let up with him. Drop that jig back down a little bit.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I find times where raising it, they won't commit to it, but if you swim it, they'll hit it.
That's right.
Yep.
There's so many different presentations you can get into.
Yeah, and that's why I tell people all the time that's the most amazing thing to me with live scoping, because it gives you that immediate reaction of those fish, to whereas you can make a slight adjustments to get them, to entice them to bite that jig.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. the way I look at it is every fish has a different personality.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Without a
Yeah.
doubt.
And you have to be able to judge that fish on the fly.
Yep.
Yep.
When that fish noses up, you've got to know exactly how he wants that bait to move for him to bite it.
Right.
And I really dig into that kind of stuff, you know, trying to pick up on those slight little details, how to make one bite.
Okay, we gonna take a minute. Tony, I was getting ready to holler at Kim and say, "Hey, I know you got some questions." It's time for questions from Kim.
Oh.
Tony, say you
I got
being
a
way
question.
too quiet tonight.
When you're fishing, what's your reach on your 16-footer on the live scope? You're reaching 12 foot. Where's your sweet spot?
I'm about 13, 14 with the 16 foot.
Yeah.
The way my skeeter's set up, I'm sitting right up on the nose of the boat, and there's about 2 foot in between me and the, you know, in the nose.
Cool.
Yeah, Slap B put in a comment here too that we were talking about the top tips for a new person, and he says get out there and learn your electronics. Time on the water.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
When I first started live scoping, I would always carry my trolling poles with me. I would get out there. I would try and do the live scope thing for a while. I would get aggravated. I'd put my trolling poles out. I'd catch fish.
Yeah.
And I did that for probably 2 or 3 months where I would go. I'd get frustrated within an hour of using my live scope. I would throw my trolling poles out. I'd catch me some fish. I'd go home happy. And I was content with it. Well, then finally I had to tell myself, leave them at the house. Take the trolling poles out. Get out there and make yourself hate it for a while.
That's right.
I hated live scope for a long time just because I couldn't figure it out.
Wow.
Time on the water helps. I just graduated college this last May, and when they put us out of school for COVID, I guess that was maybe 2.5 years ago. That's what I did. I went to the lake. I was determined to figure it out, and I was spending 6 to 7 days a week, fishing all day. And I probably did that for 3 or 4 months straight. Just hardcore grinding fishing.
Where you gonna learn it?
Yeah.
I can remember one day I got home. I was working a little part-time job. I got home from work, hooked up the boat real quick, took off. I just got to the lake. Mom calls me. She's like, "Hey, the wind's supposed to be like 35 miles an hour today." And I was like, "Yeah, I know. I'm working on my boat control."
Yeah.
I mean, it's just time on the water, trying to learn. I really dig into trying to find what I need to work on.
Right.
Pick up on one little bitty thing. If I'm not getting my bait to the fish quick enough, or I'm not accurate enough for my bait, or I can't chase a fish, whatever it is, just pick up on something and go out there and practice that and work on that and keep trying to get better at that. And then find something else. Once you get comfortable doing that, find something else and say, okay, I can work on this and I can work on this. And it's a constant process.
Yep. And the thing is, it never ends. It's
That's
a
right.
constant learning process without
You're
doubt.
never good enough. I mean,
That's right. And wind will help you get your boat control down good too.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
You get in some 20-mile-an-hour wind and you barely turn the nose of that boat. That wind's going to show you what it can do.
Exactly.
Exactly. It will show you.
Throw you around a little bit.
That's right.
It will. So that will help you with your boat control right there. You get a good calm day. You can hold it better. Now I know what to do.
That's right. I think I want to win when I'm fishing. I mean, boat control is a little bit easier when the wind's blowing.
Yeah.
You get out there on a slick day and boat control is just different.
Right.
It is.
It is.
You've really got to know how your boat moves, how your boat turns, how your boat stops, how it goes, everything. You've got to be comfortable with your system.
Right.
That's right. That's right. Exactly right.
Yep.
When's your new boat gonna be? When are you gonna convert everything?
So the way I'm actually going to do is I'm keeping my Skeeter, and it's basically just going to be a backup boat. I tear this range up, whatever, I'll have a backup boat. So I'm going to keep it rigged out, and I'm just completely rigging this Ranger out, brand new.
Sweet.
All right.
The only thing that'll come off of my Skeeter is the 8616. I can't justify spending another $6,200 on a unit right now.
Well, I was scared to ask you where you're going to put a bigger unit on your Ranger.
I want the 22 24. I don't know. That's a lot of money.
It is a lot of money.
I think it's going to be a benefit to it, but I can't justify spending $12,000 on it.
Right. Yeah, I'm a garment dealer, so when you're ready, let me know. I'll give you a good deal.
There you go.
Yeah.
Keep that in mind. Hopefully, I talk myself into buying it. But
yeah. There you go. He just posted your number down there so people can contact you.
Sweet.
So, I'm not sure how long you want to stay on tonight, but we don't want to force you to stay on till the end.
Oh no. I mean, it ain't no big deal.
Yeah.
I don't even know what time it is right now. My phone's not showing me.
Well, it's right at 10:30 here.
Yeah.
Oh, that's not
Did
bad.
you on hand ties? You said you used did you use hand ties prior to live scope? It's one of the things you changed.
I did not. I changed.
Yeah.
I was a Bobby Garland guy, tried and true. That's about all I fish for the most part.
Right. You still use the Bobby Garlands?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I use them a good bit. I use so many companies' baits.
Yeah.
I don't promote just one company because I think every company has something great to offer. There's so many companies making great products. I want to be able to use all of them.
Yeah.
Right. Hey, whatever them crappie want, that's what most people say.
That's right.
Exactly.
Yep.
I mean, I want this one profile from this company, and I want this one color from this company, and I get a lot of offers from bait companies, and I want to use everything, so I'm not really interested in picking up.
Yeah.
I don't want to, be stuck to fishing with one thing.
That's right.
So Tackle Box Mike says talking fishing is fun, and he got that 1,000% correct.
Yeah.
Can't get enough of it. So you mentioned that you bluegill fish and you take breaks from the crappie.
Yeah.
Y'all have red ear over there or shell cracker?
We don't catch a whole lot of shell cracker.
Really?
Most of it is bluegill.
Yeah.
Every now and then you'll get on a bed that'll have some shell crackers in them.
Yeah, that's about the way it is here.
For the most part, it's bluegill.
Yeah. You've been catching any big ones?
I mean, they're big enough to fillet, but they're nothing to brag about.
Okay.
They the original bluegills or they the copper nose? Like
I really couldn't.
Original.
I couldn't even tell you. I'll tell you how much I know about brim fishing. I know how to turn my helix side imaging on, and I know how to idle the bank.
and find the bed, son.
When I see a bed, I can mark it and I can throw a cricket in there. That's about my friend.
Hey, you doing it right. Throwing that cricket in there. That's what I'm talking about. That cricket. You can't beat that cricket.
I mean, we grew up fishing like that,
Yeah.
Brim fishing, catfishing, whatever we could catch. That's what we wanted to catch.
You ever tried the catawba worms?
Yeah. I actually have a tree right here in my backyard.
Oh man, you got it made then.
I haven't even checked it this year. They ought to be getting on there about right now.
Yeah, they'll be about on their way on there now. You're right.
Yeah, I mean, we grew up doing that kind of stuff: tight lining, jug fishing, trot lining, brim fishing, just whatever we could do.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We had 3 or 4. Just fishing. I just wanted to be fishing. Hunting was the same way, growing up. I hunted all the time. We didn't believe in fishing when it was cold, so we'd go hunting. Now I don't even hunt.
Right.
I mean, it's just...
Hey, you ain't got time. Yeah, you win the tournament. You ain't got time to hunt.
I mean, I have a lease. I have everything. I've got all the equipment, everything. I can't find the interest in doing it anymore.
That's right. You get back to it.
Yeah, I mean, it's still there whenever I get start. For so many years, I hunted hardcore. I wanted to kill a 140-inch buck. That was my goal.
Yeah. And
I could never get it done. So once I've started fishing so hardcore, I finally just told myself, when I get ready, I'm just going to go pay somebody and kill me a 140-inch buck.
That's what's up.
Yep.
He'll be on your wall.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot.
Yeah.
I put in so much time trying to do it, and I could never make it happen. So I just kind of lost interest in it.
So Murdoch has another question here for you. Speaking of the lake that you fish over there, he says, do you mainly fish the main lake, or do you ever go up the river?
I fish the river during the winter. We get a pretty good push of fish during the winter up there. You can catch fish year round up there. It's just the summertime, the wind doesn't blow much. So I want to be on the main lake just because that's where your bigger concentration of fish lives. I go up the river in the winter when the wind blows really hard, and we get a pretty good migration of big white crappie up the river during the winter.
Yeah.
You're not going to catch the size of fish you catch out in the main lake, but you can still catch them two and a half pound fish occasionally up the river.
Oh yeah.
I did a trip up the river about 3 weeks ago. I think we ended up with 28. So
nice.
Okay.
Pretty good day.
What's your limit over there? 30?
It is 30, and we have no size limit.
Oh, wow.
Okay, cool.
30, no size limit. It's good.
Yeah, this fish is, this lake is loaded with fish. There is fish everywhere. I'm seeing more fish right now than I have ever seen in this lake. It is unbelievable.
Oh, wow.
Good.
I've got brush piles right now. I could pull up and show you 1,000 crappie sitting on one brush pile.
Oh, wow.
I got a good spawning then.
It's crazy.
Man. Cool.
And it's every.
Wish I could find a pile like that.
It's every piece
down here.
It's every piece of structure.
Yeah.
If you find a stump as big as a Coke bottle, it'll have a crappie sitting on top of it. It's right now.
Yep. Man.
So Spot'em got a question for you too. He's asking, do you ever fish Yucatan or any of the Oxbow lakes?
I fish Eagle Lake. I fish Lake Washington, and occasionally I go to Albemarle Chotard. That's about as much as I do in the Oxbows. They're different. We actually own a place on Eagle Lake. I fish it pretty regularly. It's an Oxbow, but it's cut off from the river. And it fishes so weird. It's very finicky.
You ever fished at the bay over there?
Yes. I actually fished the bay this morning.
Live scope?
Yes.
Really?
Oh, cool.
What species did you chase?
Oh no, he's talking about the bay, probably Pelahatchie Bay, if I had to guess.
Oh, okay. It's all freshwater?
Yeah, it's just so our lake is basically one big arm, and then it's got a little bitty arm that comes off right by the dam, and they call that Pelahatchie Bay.
Oh, okay.
It's kind of just a little mini lake in there.
Yeah. Sid lives in Madison.
That's what he's referring
to.
Yeah. When somebody say the bay here, we're talking about along the coast.
Right. No, he's probably talking about Pelahatchie Bay, if I had to guess.
Yeah.
Okay. Awesome. Here's a up and coming new live scoper right here, Roadhog. He's in the process of getting live scope installed on his boat. Hopefully he was listening to those tips you gave a while ago.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But I went and
go ahead.
No, go ahead, Gil.
He don't need that paddle, not for that boat he got.
No. It won't do him any good.
It will, but it ain't.
It'll turn it a little bit, but that's about it.
Yeah, you're gonna be tired.
He has the center console.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what's up, man.
He getting everything he need.
Yep.
Yep.
Hayden, what's your next
people
tournament?
Don't realize
what's your next big tournament?
We've got a pretty good break here these next couple months. Our state trail will kick back off in August. They haven't really announced the schedules for next year yet. I've got 2 national championships next fall. I'll be at Table Rock in the Mr. Crappie qualifier, or the Mr. Crappie Invitational in October. I would say probably the next big tournament I have would be that bracket showdown on the Ouachita River in August.
Okay.
Ouachita.
Yep. So Slick has a question for you. He says, when you're guiding, do you target numbers or do you target big fish?
It depends on what they're wanting.
Right.
If they're wanting big fish, this is not the time of year to do it. We're not catching a whole lot of big fish just because there's so many fish holding on the structure. It's hard to pick through them, hard to pick the big fish out. We're averaging probably 1 or 2 fish a trip right now. Yeah. If you want to catch a big fish, February, March.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, those big fish get out there isolated all by themselves, and we can strictly target big fish.
Right.
Right.
So do you if you're
Oh,
guiding?
night fishing.
Oh, go ahead, Steve.
You have the night fishing. Do you have a night fish for crappie?
I do not. I've actually been talking about that to one of my friends, about trying it. He's tried it a couple times, and he says, right after the sun goes down, all the fish come right up to the surface. They'll be like 2 foot on the surface. He said they're super easy to catch.
Okay.
I've never tried it. I'm gonna try it here pretty soon this summer and just see what it's about.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been doing a few. I hadn't started. I mean, I guide just daytime right now, but coming up soon, I'll be guiding some at night just to beat the heat. There'll be a lot of people wanting to get out there to beat the heat.
That's right.
And I will tell you this: those fish are different at night. When you start, you'll see it. I won't say it now, but it is different.
I'm gonna start playing with it a little bit.
Yeah, it's fun. It's no different than fishing. And most of what I found is the fish don't hang on structure.
Right. They're just gonna be roaming.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And you notice that early in the morning, when you first get out there.
Exactly. Yep.
Your fish won't pull the structure until the sun gets up and gets hot.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Using that structure for shade, they feel like they're hiding whenever there's shade.
Been working that graveyard shift all night. They've been out there eating them shad.
They get tired. They got
exactly. Go back into that brush pile.
and then we slip up there.
Oh, Steve dropped out.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yep. So
man.
Sid Lewis has a question. I think I saw you this morning in the bay.
He did.
Uh-oh. You guys must. Hey, y'all not fishing the same brush piles now, are you?
We might. I did. It says he was in a tracker boat. I came right by him this morning.
Yeah.
I did.
And then he say he's the old man in the tracker boat.
I saw him today.
That's awesome. That's what's up right there.
He said he did.
Yeah.
I think he had asked something a second ago about, or he had said something about the number of fish we're seeing in our lake right now. I can't go back and see the previous comments, but I think I saw something.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when COVID first hit, everybody decided it was a great idea to go up to the sandbars and party.
Oh wow.
So the governor of Mississippi ended up shutting the lake down for 2 weeks. And it was right during the heat of the spawn. As hot as it can get. It was perfect time of year to catch fish. And I don't think he realized what he was doing, but he saved a lot of crappie's lives in that 2 week period. And now I think we're starting to see the benefits of that.
Yeah.
We're starting to see a lot of those 8-inch fish, 6 to 8 inch fish, which would be about, that spawn, and they are everywhere. I mean, it's the biggest age class of fish I've ever seen in this lake.
Mm-hmm.
In 2 to 3 years, this lake should be phenomenal.
Yeah.
Good.
So Kenneth Pippin has asked, I'm not sure how to pronounce that. Tunica, maybe?
That sounds right. I have never fished that. I'm not even sure where that is.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Well, here's a compliment to you coming on the show tonight. Says that he's been glued to the screen since 9 p.m. Super informative session. You all have enlightened me on a bunch of live scope mistakes I've been making. Thanks for the content.
Cool.
And we do want to thank you for coming on and sharing. It's not a lot of people that want to share the information that helps them, get on fish.
That's right.
But,
I'm an open book.
Yeah, we gotta be. I mean, we it's a lot of stuff that I've learned just on my own. But there's been people that's helped me along on a lot of things.
If I can help somebody, I'm more than glad to.
That's right.
Because I've had a few tips here and there that really helped me kind of open my eyes on a few things. So
right,
I'm willing to try and help, maybe open someone else's eyes.
Exactly.
Pick up what, maybe the one.
Yeah, my signal sucks tonight.
Might help them pick up on the one they're missing. I look at this thing as a puzzle. It's all a big puzzle.
That's it. Put the pieces together.
You're trying to pick up one little piece here, one little piece there, and if I can give you the final piece you need, I mean, I'm more than happy to.
There you go.
That's it. That is it.
Yes, sir. So you say you start your guiding trips at 7? I think I remember right.
Yes,
7.
sir. Yes, sir. We
Okay.
normally 7, and as it starts to get hot, we might start a little bit earlier.
Yeah, and that's what I start at 6:30 now. I mean, right at sun up.
Right, just to try and get it in, get it out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's it. It's been hot. I think the temperature the other day was like 103 in my car.
Yeah, feel like
Yeah, it was hot.
I was running 2 trips a day, running a morning trip, running an afternoon trip, but now it's getting so hot, I'm just running a morning trip.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't want to be there in 100-degree weather.
No.
I get pop an umbrella up, you might can get a fan rolling, but still it's hot.
Yeah, that takes a toll on the body.
Oh yeah, and you get a little bit of rain mixed in, then it gets real humid and it's just miserable.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
So we got a question here from Tim Adams. Speaking of night fishing, and he was asking what color bait. I think he was talking, putting it to me since I've been out there night fishing, asking what color baits do I use. On one lake, the darker colors has been working, but on my other lake, believe it or not, a pearl bait worked better than a dark bait. Believe that or not. And I'm gonna tell you something. Me just saying that, I'm gonna tell you now, especially with live scope, like I said a while ago, you see their reactions. And I'm an open book when it comes to figuring these fish out. I just want to see for myself. I've always been that way because I've seen that there is a lot of myths that's been put out in the crappie world, and I'm open to try anything. And at times I'll have 20 jigs laying on the floor of my boat just because I want to run through and see if one makes a bigger difference than the other. But yes, a pearl jig worked really well on a night trip.
Cool.
It's funny you say that about having 20 jigs on the deck of the boat. A good friend of mine was fishing at ACT last year on our home lake right here at Ross Barnett. I didn't fish the tournament. And he was on some really big specks way up the river that would have won the tournament. And they would not bite anything. So they won. They weighed like, I don't know, 11 or 12 pounds. They couldn't make those fish bite. They ended up having to leave them and go, just get what they could.
Wow.
They said they were going to do or die right there on those big fish to see if they could make them ever turn on. And he sat there all day. He opened every tackle box he had, one of everything in front of the fish. And the guy that was fishing with him was taking all those jigs and throwing them in a Walmart bag. And he was carrying them around at the weigh-in. And they were like, I don't know what y'all caught them on, but we tried this and it didn't work. And he showed them this whole Walmart bag full of jigs.
Man,
wow.
He said it had to have been 400 or 500 different plastics that he put on there.
Wow. So did he ever find anything that they would hit?
Nope.
Wow.
Could never trigger
them. That's a long day right there.
Yes, it is. I don't think he weighed 7 fish the second day.
Man.
Wow.
He had no interest to. He was strictly living or dying right there on those big specks.
Yep.
I'd have left.
Yeah.
I would have had to. I mean,
yeah, you're not gonna sit that long on fish, no.
So we have a question from Roadhog. I want Bluegill to answer this one. I want LBG to answer this one. Do you ever fish shiners on brush piles with live scope?
I just got live scope, so I had never used shiners with live scope.
That's not the question. The question ain't how long you've had live scope. The question is, are you going to use shiners?
I don't use shiners. Hey, with that little red and white cork.
That ain't what he asked. He asked, are you going to vertical jig on brush piles using your live scope? That's a yes or no question.
Yeah. I'm going to put it like that. I have. Yes, hey, I'm a shiner dunker.
Whatever.
Hey,
What about
whatever
you,
puts them
Steve?
in the boat. Whatever puts them in the boat.
Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah. Yeah.
Hayden, you
but
said a while ago you would only use minnows during the tournament, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We played around with it last summer when the bite got really tough. Taking a slip cork,
Yeah.
putting them up under it, casting it over top of a brush pile, and watching fish come out and react to it.
Yeah.
being from Louisiana, fishing with my dad, I fish with shiners, crickets, towworm,
Did
whatever.
you have live scope then?
Yes, I did.
No, I'm talking to
Oh,
LBT.
We didn't have a unit then. We were fishing cane poles and brim busters. We didn't have jig poles back then. They didn't
Yeah.
have eyes in them, just a brim buster.
Yeah.
But
Roadhog, if I see you out on the lake with that live scope on and you got some minnows in your boat, I'm gonna drill a hole in it.
well, you might, hey, if you go out there tomorrow, Lake Houston, whatever, you might well drill a hole in a bunch of people's boat because they're gonna have shiners in their boat.
Not with live scope.
With live scope, exactly. With live scope, with a half a pound of shiners.
Yeah.
Hey, it's nothing wrong with using shiners. I'll tell you
Yeah.
that.
No, ain't nothing wrong with it. Nothing wrong with
It's
that.
not. I'm just messing with
No.
you. You and Roadhog.
Hey, my daddy won't let me leave that house with none.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
say we not. He said he tell me I've been in Texas too long.
Yeah.
That's what he tell me. Say man. Yeah,
Without a
nothing
doubt.
wrong with it.
Sid Lewis said it was great to have you on, Hayden.
Yeah.
And I totally agree with
It
Yeah.
was great to have you on,
Yeah.
man.
It was good,
you. Yeah.
man. Yeah.
It's always
Keep up
nice
that
to
hard
have.
work.
Yep. It's always nice to get a different perspective on the show.
Exactly.
I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I'm probably gonna hop off here in a couple minutes. I've got a trip in the morning. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's
Oh,
what I was
okay,
saying a while
okay.
ago.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
heard you saying about how busy you were. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
you make the call. I mean, we got
Yeah.
some giveaways to
Yeah.
do also. So it's an open forum. I'm not. It's
Yeah.
like I said, we
Yeah.
won't force you to stay on. It's just
Yeah.
we're glad that you came on
Yeah.
and gave the information that you
Yeah,
you
we
already
appreciate it.
have. So
Maybe just give everybody a second to maybe ask any more questions they have before I hopped off.
Okay.
okay, let me scroll down here to see if we got any more.
Yeah.
You normally do two people at night, I mean, 2 people in the morning, or one person?
It depends. This morning I have one. I think tomorrow morning I have one.
Okay.
Friday I think I have two.
Okay. Cool.
It's either way. My price is set. It can be one or
Right. Right. And what's your prices so everyone knows?
So for just a guide trip full day is $500.
Okay.
And that's for one or two people. For live scope, where we're strictly teaching live scope, not really worried as much about catching fish. It's $300 for 4 hours.
Okay.
And that's strictly we're just teaching live scope. We're gonna catch fish while doing that, but I'm gonna spend more time digging into the live scope than I am
Right. Teaching them.
trying to put you on fish. Right?
Yeah.
That's right.
So here's it's not a question specifically directed at you, but this guy Tim Adams asked of the 5 of us that's on the panel, who's caught the heaviest crappie, and I will say that it has
Yeah.
been Hayden.
Yeah. 380. That's a hog. Oh man.
Man,
Yeah.
that's a once in 5
Yeah.
lifetime fish.
Yeah. Yeah.
Without a doubt.
It was special.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Hey, you gotta say, hey, I know you probably post pictures of it on your Facebook page. I'm gonna have to get over there and check you out, man.
Yeah, it's on my page.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hopefully I'll get my mount back here pretty soon.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's like I said. I appreciate you coming on, man, and good luck in the morning. Y'all be safe out there on that lake, brother. And really do appreciate you coming on.
Yeah.
I had a great time.
Yeah, appreciate it.
I guess I'm gonna go ahead and hop off.
Okay, brother.
Okay.
Get my
All
boat.
right, hey, man. Good to meet you, man.
Yeah, good.
meet all
Take
y'all.
care, man. All right, man.
Thank you.
All right.
Bye.
All right, bro.
That was cool.
Oh yeah, it was good stuff, man. Yep.
Look at Roadhog. Somebody he was looking for all reactions.
I'm gonna get something to drink real quick.
Yeah, I was about to take me a break to go and get me some a while ago. So Daniel says, invest in an umbrella, guys. They are a lifesaver, especially when the wind's not blowing and it's hot. I sort of don't like the umbrellas because the wind here is rarely not blowing. It's usually always blowing here, and it's just a parachute and prevents you from holding on your brush piles. But what I do recommend on my guided trips is that everybody bring a big hat that they're comfortable with. Without a doubt, Super Dave, I totally agree, brother. Mississippi out, spot him, got him.
You put it on the street.
There's Hayden's phone number again. Thank you, Super Dave. I didn't have my notepad right here to write it down, but I enjoy getting a different perspective from somebody that's good at catching crappie. Romero asked, "Do you like creature bait or minnow style baits better?" I'm quite sure that was directed at Hayden, but guys, anytime you have a question, be sure to put some question marks in it. That way, I'll be able, because I can't just read every single comment when we got a guest on like that.
Yeah, I like the minnow style baits. Yeah. I think it's more natural. Not saying the other ones don't work, but
guys, we got 9 minutes to go.
Yep.
9 minutes to go.
What's the difference between a 0 degree on the LVS 32 and a 0 on the LVS 34?
It's the same. It's just the mount's different. The 34 mount's totally different than the 32. So you can't. It's the same degree, but it's just a different setup.
Yeah.
You can't use a 32 on a 34. It's a whole. Garmin changed it so it's easier to change it out.
Yeah.
I guess they're having a lot of people, with issues. So and it's like anything. You got a Gen 1 and a Gen 2. They just try to improve it from feedback.
Yeah. Oh, Dave said he couldn't find Hayden's Facebook page.
Yeah, it's Hayden Jeffries Fishing.
Copies or something, had Chinese writing or something. Oh, yeah, okay. So it's Hayden Jeffries Fishing.
Yeah, yep.
Okay. So it took me several times listening to copy phone number. Oh, okay. Without a doubt. Thank you.
Next
Super
time
Dave.
we got a guest, I'll get the information and send it to him prior. You know what I mean? I think it'll be better.
Get them set up. Yeah. Get them set up. Yeah. Going to Hot Spring, Arkansas in 3 weeks. Any good lakes for bluegill and crappie out that way? Arkansas.
Lake Hamilton.
There you go.
Docks are real good. I fished that Mr. Crappie Classic a few years ago. Yeah, docks are real good over there.
So I'm gonna let me tell you. Let me get this thing here going. I didn't give my report. For this week.
Hey, you said you asked me about how fish. I went after me and you went. I didn't think about it. I went with eBay brother Patrick.
Oh, really?
We fished with on the Mega Live. First time I fished with Mega Live.
Oh, okay, cool.
We had a hard time figuring out the first time. I guess he'd been catching them, but for some reason, looking at it, everything looked tiny. My jig, I had a 1/8 jig head and a split shot, tiny. He had it too
forward out. Yeah.
Okay.
And when we figured out what it was, because their gain, I think, is contrast.
Oh, okay.
It's contrast instead of gain.
Yeah.
You had to bring it back in. Once you got back in, we seen a couple of brush piles in it. It looked all right.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? But it ain't Gorman. It ain't
yeah. Gorman is definitely top dog, but you can catch fish with all of them.
Yes.
Yeah.
But as far as clarity and usability,
yes.
Gorman definitely.
It's a whole lot better. The Gorman's a whole lot better.
Yeah.
But you can see them, see the fish, see the structure, but the clarity of it is totally different.
Right.
Yeah.
It's totally different. But it's still fishable.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. It'll put fish in the boat.
Yeah.
So Tony asked, "Do you have any screen cleaner?" And yes, he does. He has the Mad.
I need
Yep. Mad Fishing screen cleaner. Yeah.
Yeah.
I meant to tell you that when you sent my order. I forgot.
Okay. I'll bag some up and send out to you.
Okay.
Now Kelvin, they didn't mess with my stomach. I need to go back and get me some more. I need to go and pick me a bucket full so I can make me a cobbler.
They were
I
picking
watched your
berries.
video
I was
today.
catching
Yeah, I
fish.
seen that today. Yep. Yep. Wild berries.
Yep.
Him and Slick left me.
Man, hey,
they
look,
ran
it was
out.
one little bitty spot, and every 12 casts he catch a fish. That ain't fast enough for me. I'd rather go and eat me some blackberries.
Hey,
Yeah, you got your share.
Hey, it seemed like I take 2 steps, there'll be another bush right there with some bigger and
Yep.
blacker berries on it. I was like, man,
Eating like popcorn.
that's right.
oh,
Yeah, I started off eating them one at a time, and I was like, man, let me just get me a handful and just throw them all in my mouth.
Yeah.
But no, Kelvin, those berries did not mess with my stomach.
that's natural right there. No chemistry.
All right, Slab B, appreciate you hanging with us.
Good night tonight.
Yeah, I think so.
Send me some. I need some too, Steve.
Okay. All right.
Some of that cleaner.
Yeah. Hit me up and remind me. Just send me a message or text.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, Kim,
That's
you
what's
worked
up.
on your boat, I seen.
Yep.
Yeah, I got
Had
my
it out
boat
the
hooked
garage.
up.
Yeah.
Got my
Oh,
trolling
cool.
motor plug changed out, but then it started raining.
Oh, okay.
Say Dennis started right.
Trying to order my live scope.
Oh, cool.
Look at Joe. Joe say LBG to hit the no-dos tonight.
Hey, I'm like the military, John. Hey man, I do more things 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, and y'all do the whole day. I'm up all day.
Yeah. Then Limits Tackle got some good news. I sealed the deal on a new facility for Limits Tackle. Yeah. Over 2,000 square foot. So yeah. I'd say in a month it'll be completed. So it's gonna be big. It's gonna be real big. So yep. Big things are gonna happen. I got a bunch of ideas and
sound like I need to move to Texas.
Oh yeah, come on.
Chat Jock, I have to check after the live to see if I received it.
Then we need to set a date. Let's try to work that this week.
Yeah, for that meetup.
Yeah.
Steve,
did you catch it?
For your grand opening?
Yeah. Yep. Steve, did you catch any? Yeah, I caught a lot of copper nose. I went Friday. Just used the all black hand tie or a jig head with a red wiggler, and I tip it on the little hand tie. Oh, we smoked them. Some good ones.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Broderick talking about I was smacking on them hard too.
Yeah, I got into some good redheads finally this time.
Oh, cool.
I seen, man.
Yeah.
Finally.
You know, the gills are still not. I mean, it's crazy how many are on brush piles, but they're not big ones.
Yeah.
Every now and then you'll catch a big one, but most of them are small little peckers.
Yeah.
And the beds that I found, man, you got to cast 10 times to get a good fish, and it's a subtle bite. They're not grabbing it like with authority,
right?
Slamming it.
You basically gonna have to move from spot to spot, just like you white purse fishing.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
So Joseph Cluse asked Kim, did you have to upgrade the plug due to overheating?
No, I had to upgrade my trolling motor plug because it was a 2-prong. My other one was a 3-prong.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So I had to order a 2-prong.
Yeah.
Here goes some catfish talk. They want to know what kind of bait you was using.
We use white bass.
What?
We couldn't get no big shad. We had a bunch of yearlings. We kept netting a bunch of yearlings that wasn't big enough.
Yeah. No, I don't have the Mega Live.
I'm not sure if he's asking if you can get Mega Live or
I run it.
Do you run it on your
boat? I run Go. But yeah, the Mega Live. I'll check. So send me an email or a message, and I'll check. Thanks, Tony.
Yeah, fish don't care. They eat meat. Yep. They don't care what kind of meat's on there.
DJ, what's going on, man?
Yeah.
All right, y'all. Let me get this thing. We're gonna be over tonight. Quick question for gents. I've been dealing with health issues, and my boat hasn't been used in 3 years. Any tips on what I should ask the shop to do to get it back running good?
Just have them go through it.
Yeah, just go through it.
And definitely add a fuel stabilizer.
Yeah.
Without a doubt.
Yeah, the shop will know what to do.
Check
Yeah.
your water pump. Your water pump. It might be
change it out. Yeah.
Change it out.
Impeller. Yep.
Yeah.
Squiddo, man, they're everywhere right now.
Flush your lower unit.
Yep.
Without a doubt. All right, let me get this thing started out. You know what? Well, let me go and get it started. We still got how many people we got on? We still got 90 people on. Let's
oh yeah.
Let me
How
go
many
ahead and do
did?
this,
What was the max today? You think?
107 maybe.
Okay.
Yeah.
So SK on the giveaways, you said we had some giveaways last week, right? So
yeah. If they hadn't contacted you by now, you can throw them back in.
I'm gonna throw them back in.
I sent my 2 out.
They contacted me, but they sent a phone number, but I told them to send the address, and they hadn't sent them since then.
Oh wow.
Yeah, you tried.
Well, I said I told them I don't need the phone number. I need the email. I need your address.
Mailing address.
Mailing address, correct.
Right.
Yeah, I got both of mine out.
Sound like some people gonna miss out.
I gotta get in touch with Squiddo. We'll meet up on the lake.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, was Squiddo on her today?
Yeah, he just commented.
He's right there.
Yeah, right there.
There you go, right there.
Yeah.
Some of them berries. I'm talking about him. So I'll get with him on that then.
Oh, you say he in East Texas and they all dried up.
Texas.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
When you coming back this way, Squiddo, let me know. We'll meet up. I'm off on Thursdays and Fridays.
You fishing tomorrow, Bluegill?
I wish I could.
Sure. I was thinking maybe go to Fairfield if you want to meet over there.
Fairfield?
I'll call you right after the show.
I might have to gas.
Yeah, if you guys want to come out there.
Okay. I ain't got nothing to do tomorrow.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go hook up with Roy Dale Trammell.
Okay, cool.
I guess a little Red Rock Hood up.
Yeah.
Steve, Kim, did you get your boat cranked? Did you run it at all?
No, I didn't run it. The motor runs fine. I'd have to drain that gas out of it. Remember, it wouldn't mix.
Okay.
It wouldn't mix, so I had
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
I just wanted to get my electronics hooked up. I'm almost there.
Yeah,
Man,
when you leave live
quiet.
scope, let me know.
What's that?
When you leave live scope, let me know.
Oh, my friends had a HR garment, so I'm
okay. Oh, shoot, you're right.
I'm just waiting for her to text me back.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I was quiet. I was just listening, man. I was just
good info, man.
Yeah,
that
without a doubt.
One thing I caught with the crappie breaks is I thought it was on off, but he says no. As long as he's pressing that button, it's on. Once he lets go, that's pretty good. And then he does a reverse or a forward. That's a new one. Yeah.
Yep. He's running a different. Most people getting those cheap troll motors.
Yeah.
That's only one, and it's just a spin all the way around.
Yep.
They don't have a reverse.
Right.
But when he said that they were 24 volt, I already figured they had the forward.
Yeah, that's going to be his new one coming up.
Yeah.
I want to put them on that little aluminum boat. I might be all right with that. What you think?
Hey, I'll tell you what, man. I see it really bad. Man, I know it's a big help.
Yeah.
Because, man, I'm just like we've all said, man, you could get up to that fish, he'll be going, and that joker will just pause.
Yep.
And the second you rotate that troll motor around to stop your boat, you turn back around, that fish is gone.
Yeah.
Like I say, I believe it's the pinging from the units and the trolling motor.
And the troll motor.
Yeah.
Most definitely the troll motor.
I was wondering about that pinging stuff,
Yeah. I believe it is. Like I say, we used to catch them back without the live scope and transducers and all that.
Broderick, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday.
And Monday.
Dang.
Fly guys say he's going to be over there too.
I meet you guys Fairfield and some of those big boys. I'm about an hour and 20 away. Okay. Yeah. Cool. That'd be cool.
That's what's up.
Yeah, Bluegill can give me some tips. I'm all about learning. It's fun, I just want to. I ain't been that much to learn a lot.
Yeah,
I'm taking it as I go because it's deeper fishing.
Yeah,
you're not fishing with a cork. You know what I mean? So
See, me, that's what I do. I fish with that carp.
Yeah.
But see, they shallow. I guarantee they shallow too.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're just getting where you just find out where they shallow at.
Right.
The thing
They
is with this
love
like
shallow water.
the thing is with this like LBG it is gin clear.
Take that grass all around the banks.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the water in it is gin clear.
Yeah.
See, me, what I understand what you're saying with the clarity of it. I would pull that boat up in that grass a little bit, drop me a couple of anchors, sit still for a minute, and just drop straight down. Them brim, they'll run out for a minute.
Right.
Once you get quiet, they'll come right.
Right.
You
I
can
can
sit there and just pick them
I
off.
can actually put my nose in that grass, put my power poles down, and I could just sit there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you can pick them off.
Yeah. But I never fish because it's so thick. You probably have to
Yeah.
put a heavier weight to get down in there.
Oh yeah, you will. You will.
Yeah.
Or just find like little holes and patches. We do that for white perch back at home.
Okay. Yeah.
With the mouse and stuff, and we call them log jams back.
Okay.
Fell down. Take your shiner and just drop it down in that hole. Because it actually is floating mouse.
Right.
It sits on top. Once you drop it below it, and on white.
Yeah, this is actually grass.
Grass. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's a lot. You'll see it.
Okay.
It's out to about 8 foot of water.
Wow.
Yeah.
We got to check it out.
So Tim asked, does Fairfield have freshwater redfish? I've never heard of.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
Not that far.
That like.
Yeah.
Unless they put them in there, like I know some lakes, some people do that.
Yeah.
They said there's no crappie, but I think there is.
Yeah.
So Super Dave dropping these links over here, guys. I always want to talk about this little Facebook group. Any of you guys that are on Facebook, be sure to go and check us out over there. It is called Houston Area Crappie Fishing, but that does not mean that if you're in Florida, you can't post your reports there, or if you're in California, we welcome all crappie fishing reports. We do have good conversations over there about different techniques to catch fish. So y'all be sure to check that out on Facebook. Camo Joe, everybody has a plan till they get punched in the mouth. What was that about? I guess from the crappie, they get punched in the mouth from the crappie. What's the best way to hook a cricket? What'd you say, Kim?
Stick it in.
Yeah.
Stick it in.
Yeah. It's two different ways. One of them hook them through that collar on their neck.
Yeah.
So Darian says this is to answer the question about the redfish in that lake over there. He says that Fairfield. He said back when the power plant was running that it did, but not anymore.
They probably have tilapia over there too.
Yep, he just says Fly Guy says he knows it as tilapia.
Yeah.
I want no tilapia.
Thanks,
3-pound
Miss Bertha.
tilapia. That'd be a nice fight.
Really appreciate everybody that's held on. All right, let's what we giving Kim? You got something? Who all got something?
Yeah, I got 3 1/80th ounce black and silver.
Is that the same one you had? I blew up a while ago.
Mm-mm.
Oh, it's a different one.
Yeah, this is little.
Oh yeah, 1/80th.
Stinger tail. 1/80th ounce black and silver stinger tail.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, here we go. Oh, where my screen go to?
It went to sleep.
Hold on. All right, now right here.
Okay.
No, I see it right there. Uh-oh. What are we gonna have to do? It's a brand new one for me, y'all.
Uh-oh.
All right, let me just stop sharing it and then share it again. I think it should hold it's still holding the drawings.
Drawing.
Yeah.
Might be down in your folder.
Share screen. All right, here we go. There we go.
Yeah,
all right, here we go. And here we go with the first draw. See who we got for a winner.
LBG.
I'll tell you what, micro jigs are a must. Chat Jock.
No,
This dude here's just been a winner.
Yep.
Chat Jock won?
Yeah.
Chat Jock won.
I got his info, I think. Send it to me anyway.
Okay. So, Bluegill, you had one to go, right?
Yeah.
Because you got that one Squiddo got the claim his, didn't he?
Yeah, Squiddo claimed the other guy. I'm gonna give him a couple more days and see.
Okay.
But I just throw nothing in the box right now, and they'll be surprised. I ain't gonna get no color, nothing. I'm just gonna send some jigs.
Okay, here we go. LBG's custom hand tie. Kenneth Pippins. Kenneth Pippins. Now, guys, you winners, Super Dave is putting links to the emails to each person. The first giveaway was for Kim. Kim's email is right there. You can hit him up on Facebook. How you prefer it, Kim?
Oh, email's fine.
Okay, hit him by email and send him your mailing address.
Not phone number.
And yeah, and here's the giveaway, Kenneth. You need to hit LBG up by email and send him your mailing address.
Once again, not your phone number. I'm not gonna call you.
I'm gonna do one too. So
okay, well, here we go. Let me
it'll
get over here.
It'll be a surprise package.
Awesome. Draw again.
You know what? I'm gonna send the brand new jig head. I got.
Okay.
I haven't named it what they're called, but I'm gonna send some of them.
Todd Phelps.
Yep. Hey Todd, just send me either Facebook or email, and just tell me giveaway, and I'll send them new ones. I just started pouring them 2 days ago.
Yep. Good looking heads too.
Right. Yeah.
Really good looking heads.
Yeah.
All right, guys. I don't want to keep Super Dave much longer since he's a couple hours ahead of us, and he has really early mornings.
Super Dave gonna put his 2 week notice in.
Yeah, I'm on somebody.
Us running over like this.
Oh man.
There you go. Yeah. But congratulations to all the winners. We appreciate everybody that's been in. We appreciate everybody that threw up the questions because that really does draw more information from all directions.
That's right.
Another big shout out to Hayden for coming on.
Great.
And you guys, Kim, Steve, LBG,
appreciate
man, I really
it.
do appreciate it.
No problem,
Super
man.
Dave,
Yeah.
Slick, and Big Les. I think he's on night shift, so I don't think he joined us tonight.
Yep.
But guys, we really do appreciate you all joining us. This crappie thing is a really big thing, and I see it only growing. But as we say all the time, we'll be back next week. Same time, same flavor.
Yeah.
Right.
Later, y'all.
All right. Take care, man. All right. Later.